Hello, Sonic movie fans, and welcome to episode 110 of the Sonic Movie Show, the only show that's about Sonic news, and Sonic movie news. My name is Ethan, and with me here for this fine December morn is Devin.
I think that tank just had a baby.
That is from the Sonic movie.
It is. It is.
That
and you know where I
remember.
pulled it from? TheMamaDiaries.com.
Explain briefly. We have a lot to talk about, but I need a brief
I
explanation
looked
about...
up Sonic the Hedgehog quotes, and it was on I don't know, it was like the fourth suggestion.
Is TheMamaDiaries.com a list of references to having children?
It's a blog from written by Kami. Shout out to Kami. She wrote a blog about her family watching the Sonic movie, and she pulled quotes from it.
Okay, never mind then.
Hey,
That's a perfect website idea. Pull every single quote from every, movie or whatever that's just referencing the idea of having a child.
I mean, we could submit something maybe about this. Oh, no, this is just Kami's thing. Never mind. This isn't like a everyone post here. Hey,
Fuck
Kami,
Kami.
welcome to the show. No,
Kami
you.
was at Charlottesville. Don't invite Kami on.
No, she
All right.
wasn't.
Today's episode of the Sonic Movie Show is one that we did kind of last year. Last year, we talked about our favorite games that we had played. We also talked about the Game Awards. Devin and I play a bunch of different games. Not oftentimes do we play games that are specifically from this year. So last year, we kind of just talked about the games we had played in general. This year, we're going to be doing that today, as well as our predictions for the Game Awards. And then hopefully you will hear our reactions to the results of the Game Awards at some point after they air. We're kind of playing it fast and loose this December. We got lots of stuff going on. But yes, Devin, you played a bunch of video games this year. Why don't you kick me off with something?
I wouldn't say a bunch. I definitely played less games this year than last year. And you'd think maybe like because I watched more movies or television. No, I think I was just busy doing things this year. Like I was trying to think just even like movies I've seen this year. And I'm like, well, there was no movie theaters. It's like a lot of the shit I watched was streaming services. And so, but yeah, like in general, I haven't really, didn't play as much as last year. At least not what I think will be on a lot of these Game Award awards nominees. Most of them I don't think will be on there. But I know this one is up for something. I'll briefly talk about it here because I played a little bit on stream. I have about, I think, 10 hours in this game. I got it because it reminded me a little bit of the things I like in this genre, action RPGs. This game's called Scarlet Nexus.
Oh, right.
Scarlet Nexus came out around the same time as Nier Replicant came out, like I think a couple weeks before. And I remember being like, do I get Nier Replicant or do I get Scarlet Nexus? I wound up getting Nier Replicant, but I wound up getting Scarlet Nexus on a sale on Steam a couple months ago, and I've been playing a little bit on stream. Overall, it's fine. Didn't like love it, or I still haven't finished the game, but I heard it's a pretty long game, so I doubt I'll finish it. It's very anime, which is cool. The fighting style is interesting. It took me a little bit to like get used to it.
Is it? Because
Yeah.
I know that team made Code Vein, which I'm pretty sure is a Souls-like. Is this also a Souls-like, or is this more like Devil May Cry?
I don't even say like Devil May Cry. It's definitely just a go to this spot, fight these bad guys, go through a dungeon, fight these bad guys, level up your shit. Like the whole first like 3 hours, I would say is one big introduction. Because like it's showing you the game mechanics slowly but surely, which I appreciated. But also showing you different characters and getting to know their abilities. So basically, it's like you have like at moments you have like a party of people, and like you can use your abilities together to fight enemies. And some enemies, can only be defeated if you use a combination of your abilities or whatnot.
Gotcha.
But it takes place in like a Neo Tokyo kind of area. I forgot the name of it, but future Japan. And like the art style is pretty cool. It has more of a graphic novel style to it at moments, especially like more like the backdrop. Like it looks like it's hand drawn and shit. So that's pretty cool. So the art style is pretty cool. But yeah, it's a very I would say slow at moments, RPG story, classic game. But if you like those kind of shit, you like the grind and whatnot, I definitely recommend this. And it's anime as fuck. So if you like anime, you're probably gonna like this because there's just cheese in it, anime cheese in it, and it's just hell yeah.
That's what
it has a cool
like
intro song. It has a cool
trailers.
intro song too. So like, why not? You know?
Well, that's how you know it's an anime if it has a cool intro song.
Yeah.
Because like, imagine playing a beloved anime video game and skipping the intro every single time, never even watching it once.
That's me. Yeah, that was always me with like Evangelion, like on Netflix. It was like you could skip this intro. I'm like, but no.
Right. Exactly.
No.
Now imagine a popular video game called Persona 4 Golden, and you skip the intro every single goddamn time, and you claim that you're doing it on purpose, but I know better. I looked at that game, and there's just so much for me to play. You know what I mean?
It definitely looks time. It definitely feels time consuming, and it's slow. So like, I feel like for me, I didn't really love it in the beginning, but once like I got out of like the main, I think area of. Like, it wasn't like an area, but like the main just part of the story where it's like, okay, you're kind of by yourself now. You can do some side quests if you want. You can go do this. And they're all teens, but they're 18 plus. Don't worry.
Is it the old Sailor Moon thing of like these kids are clearly different ages from each other, and they're all in high school, but they say they're 18 plus.
I could have sworn they mentioned somewhere in the game that like, yeah, we look young, but like we're like 40 or something.
I mean, that's just the anime thing. Everyone's drawn younger. You'll see like a dude with gray hair and he'd be like, yeah, I'm 35. You know what I mean? It's like that's the old guys like 30 something.
Yeah.
All right, so one game that I played this year that I know is up for some awards, I'm not quite sure which ones, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, big PS5 game. I platinumed it, which was very fun for me to do. Because I like those platinums. Yeah, this was a very, very like solid and exciting next gen only game. Like really, this was for me the first like real. This is next gen only, and it feels like that is the case. The things that they do with the super fast loading of the PS5's SSD allows them to literally do stuff that they just could not do on PS4 unless they paused the game a lot to load things. Obviously, like there's the whole portals and stuff that you're ripping through. They're able to load 2 different levels at once, entire levels, like the entire planet,
rifting
like
apart
sections. Apparently, according to Insomniac, on the cutting room floor, originally was called like Rift You a New One or something like that. Because most of the Ratchet and Clank subtitles are innuendos.
Yeah.
Going commando, up your arsenal, size matters, quest for booty, full frontal assault. But beyond just like being able to jump from one level to another like instantly, they do cool things in just like the cutscenes and stuff where it's all in engine, and they do like the Star Wars wipe where like the screen slowly transitions from one to the other. You can't do that in a video game unless it's like a pre CG or pre-rendered thing, because you're literally loading in 2 entire viewports and scenes at once. Here they can do that instantly. So you're seeing lots of stuff like that where they can immediately swap to a different character in a cutscene and you immediately start playing. You're not loading anything. It does also cool stuff where some of the guns, with the triggers the way they are, you could pull them halfway to do one thing and then all the way to do the other, and actually feels like it's not something you have to really think about. Like, I don't want to apply too much pressure. Like, you just, when you're doing it or when you're not. And just the game was just really, really fun. It was a fun shooter. The guns are always crazy in these games. They're always leveling up and getting more and more wacky and crazy and stuff. Or like, you get a gun that's shooting out giant buzz saws that hit things and then just like bounce and bounce and bounce back on them constantly. All these random guns. And there's a little bit of like PlayStation love, or like you get a gun that like opens up a portal and then like Jak and Daxter fall on them, or like the giant robot dinosaur from Horizon falls on them, or I think a troll from God of War falls on them, like that kind of stuff. Like there's a little bit of cute stuff in there, and the story was weirdly like endearing and like, I don't want to say like animated film quality simply because of most of the time is spent playing a game than like, lots of cutscenes and stuff. But like what's there is very clearly well done. And I don't know, I just really like that game. And I know it's up for some awards, but we'll find out eventually what ones they are.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it's on my list to play eventually whenever I get a PS5 5 years from now. Or the PS5 Pro. Or PS5 Mark II, whatever it's going to be called.
To be fair, we don't know if they actually will do that or not.
Yeah, or if it'll be like, you put a second one next to it and it creates double the power.
You just pull the panel off the side and just like a
it's
double
like a
stuffed
sandwich.
Oreo.
Yeah. Let's see. Fuck it. I'm going to talk about this one. It's not going to be up for any awards because I think the cutoff is too late. Unless I'm totally wrong. And I don't think it's not technically out because it's been in beta, I believe.
Then I don't think it will count. I think it needs to be a real release.
But this one's been hyped up by a lot of the Xbox boys and girls out there who really want, they like, who I'm talking about, Master Chief. All right, we're talking about Master Chief. We're talking about Halo Infinite. All right, and I watched all like the dev trailers for Halo Infinite since they first announced it and showed that trailer that like everyone was like boo about. But I was like, you know what? I've always thought Halo was cool, like as a kid, because I didn't have an Xbox as a kid, but my cousin had an Xbox as a kid, and I remember like how hyped I was for him when like Halo 3 came out, because like I remember him being even like every time I came over, he was like, "You want to play Halo?" And like that was my time to play Halo, was with him. We do like we do like the story mode co-op, or like every time he died in multiplayer, he'd let me play or whatnot. And I remember always having fun with it. And then you and I and David, friend of the show, played Halo that one day in high school during field day or whatever. The tech department had like
we
a
had
LAN
the
party.
First Halo on every single computer in computer lab, and we all just played it.
Yeah, but I remember we weren't even like necessarily playing the game. We were trying to like hit each other with cars and dumb shit like that.
Right.
But still fun. So like when this came out and they're like, okay, this is gonna be like part of the next gen experience, but it's also gonna be part of Game Pass. It's gonna be part of it's gonna be on PC and mobile, whatever. I was like very intrigued by it. And then once I heard that the multiplayer is free, I'm like, okay, like I'm playing this game. And then they released it early, and I've been playing it, and I'm fucking addicted to this game. Like,
really?
I love my shooters, and I love playing multiplayer games with friends and whatnot. And this game's just so fun to just.
Do you think it's something I would like? Do you think it's something I should play on PC?
I would recommend. I mean, like, I would give it a shot. Like, honestly, just jump straight into like the team deathmatch or whatnot.
How big was the file size?
I don't remember. I don't remember it taking that long, so I don't think it was too long.
Because I just think of this the same as like Call of Duty, where
no,
it's hundreds of gigs.
I don't think it's that. I mean, this game is like polished too. Like no matter what because I've been playing it on medium. I haven't even tried to mess with it. I just did like what it recommended, and I did medium. And the game is still beautiful at medium. Like it's not like next gen level, but like I'm like this is a solid looking game. The frame rate's generally pretty good. There's some bugs still, because it's in beta still technically, and I know they're going to update it. The game needs to be
able to run on Xbox One, and they also had an extra year because that game was supposed to come out last year. Remember?
Yeah, and I think it was a smart choice because I think everyone's just been generally pretty positive. The only negative people have complained about is the battle pass grinding, and that's one thing is since getting it free, you really don't get any skins or anything like that. Like I've played like 12 hours at this point, and I finally unlocked like a helmet thing. And I'm only at like level 8 because like the grinding's really like you won't get like level 2 like in level 2 in like 2 hours. You might get to level 1. So I would say like every 2 hours you go up if you play consistently and play well, obviously. And I'm honestly not struggling in the game as much as I thought I would. Like I'm starting to get the gist of it. Like, hey, you should be using melee a lot. Like you should be upfront and personal against your enemy. It isn't sniping necessarily all the time or whatnot. And like the guns definitely are supposed to be more inaccurate so that you can get close and try to just damage their shield and then go for a punch. And like you kind of get in just like this rhythm. And I'm such in shooter games I'm very streaky. In this game I feel like rewards you for being so streaky because like you'll just start going off and it feels so good to just be like I just killed 8 dudes in a row. I'm badass. But then when you're losing, like it's frustrating, but it respawns you so quick and you're right back in the fight that it doesn't feel like it doesn't make you sit and like dwell on it too much. It's like, hey, it's okay. You maybe you could have done something better with that fight, but you're right back in. Go back and help your teammates. Let's go capture the flag again. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And I really like that. That like, hey, you respawn within 5 seconds after you die, and I just find it just very solid, and I'm excited what they're gonna do with it. And it's not like it's really making me consider like, okay, like, do I want an Xbox at some point? You know, sooner than later, because I want to see how this feels on Xbox, like with the higher graphics and all that stuff or whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's also crossplay with, control, because you can play on your Xbox with your friend on PC or on your fucking phone, whatever, I think. So that's cool. And it has a lot of cool accessibility features too. Like it has, like, you can turn on text to voice or voice to text and stuff like that. So I thought that was cool that they added that. Oh, no one's toxic, by the way. Maybe not yet, but we've only had like one person like just yell, and then that was it. They yelled once. I
feel like that's always the case with multiplayer games at launch. It's always super helpful, supportive, and then like once you start getting major updates and changes, then all of a sudden people are just pissed.
Yeah. I'm gonna wait and see, but I'm enjoying it what it is right now, and like, and win or lose or whatnot, I'm just having fun. I'm just like, hey, want to play one more? When you're doing that, you're having a good time. When you're like, hey, want to do one more? And all of a sudden it's been another hour, and like I played 6 hours the other night, and I didn't even it didn't feel like 6 hours, and I haven't had that experience in quite some time with a multiplayer game. So yeah, 2 thumbs up. I don't think it's up for any awards. I think it came out too late.
And again, if it's not like, I think it missed, but obviously Halo Infinite itself would probably want to be up for an award more than its multiplayer.
It's also making me want to like really like maybe get into like playing the campaigns and knowing more about the lore, because I'm like, I don't know 2 shits. Who the fuck's Master Chief? I don't even know if he has a name.
Yeah. His name is like John or something boring.
Hell yeah. John Smith.
But I mean, Solid Snake's name is David, and Big Boss Naked Steak, his father, is named Jack. So. A game I played this year that came out last year, late last year, that was recommended to me because I like roguelikes, and I was very trepidatious about getting it in, but it was on sale, and like, you know what, fuck it, we're going to give it a shot. Spelunky 2.
God damn, I knew it was going to be
I played this game, I went through it, I bashed my head against the wall many, many times. I eventually came out the other end a winner. Not just a winner, but an all-in-one-go winner. Spelunky 2 is obviously a sequel to Spelunky, which is very much a 2D side-scrolling kind of platformer where every fucking thing on the screen will instantly kill you or get you real fucking close. It's really easy in these 2 games to just chain together things. Explosions and enemies and just traps and all sorts of stuff. Lava.
I feel like you could never hesitate in that game. Like,
no.
From what I've seen people
play. You gotta just commit and go.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that running is automatic in that game and you hold a button to walk.
Doesn't a ghost
says
come?
Something.
Like, if you don't
because
finish
that's the other
level
thing.
quick enough, like a ghost comes and chases
you. If you
you.
loiter, if you try to collect as much money as possible and you loiter after, I think it's 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes. I think it's more generous in this game than the first one. A ghost that will instant kill you pops up and chases you. And if it touches you, you instantly die. But yeah, it's type of roguelike where if you die, you start from the exact beginning. There are shortcuts you can unlock through playing that get you further. And I've beaten the game both by getting a shortcut right to the final area. It's just still like a few levels before you can fight the final boss. And I also did it from the beginning as well with no shortcuts. So, and of course, there's a secret ending that requires just doing this and this and this and this and this, like all the crazy ways of killing the bosses and getting certain things. And there's an item trading thing where you have to get this and then trade it for this and then go to this level and do it with this and go to this level and do it with this, yada, 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 to get the ultra ending. I'm not going to bother with that. I'm probably never going back to this game. I do appreciate that, in my mind, this is one of those roguelikes where it's not like it has a really fun gameplay to it. Like Hades last year plays 40 times better than this game in terms of its relationship to the always changing, never quite the same run aspects, and just the you know the like Hades was way more fun to play than this one, even though they're two different types of, game styles. But Spelunky 2 is such a like beautifully mathematical game where like I can look and I can just with my Neo's eye kind of see like, okay, this is here because of this, and this many spots away, this, like I can just see that like it's just a gigantic algorithm that makes all of these levels.
It's the Matrix.
And it always works. It always works. Like there's always like it's just interesting. Those first few levels, you don't really need to dig, or because you can't dig, you blow up, use your limited bombs to blow things up. You don't need to for the first few levels. It's always guaranteed. And then like levels with lava always have interesting things, or the levels with water. It's very much a fun game to play. I think it's extremely difficult for anyone to play casually. You'd really have to like, all right, I actually do want to beat this game. I'm not just trying it now. I need to win. Like you really need to be in that mindset to succeed, because the game requires repetition and repetition and repetition. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was very, very, very fun. I think the guy is probably going to make something else instead of Spelunky 3 because all of his ideas are in here. But any game where you get an extra heart by getting a kiss from a dog, is a good game.
And that game came out last year, right?
Came out last year, yeah. For
so it's not gonna
PS4.
Be any like awards or anything, right?
No, I mean maybe if it came out really late. I don't know. But yeah, I like that game.
I mentioned this one. I'll quickly go through it because I haven't finished it yet, and I'm not at full thoughts. And I know you want to play it at some point. Nier Replicant. Right. We're big fans of Nier Automata. And you played all the Drakengard's.
Nope, I only played Drakengard 3. Looked on eBay. Those first two games are over $100 each.
Not worth it.
Probably not.
But yeah, so when I first got this game, like the first 2 weeks, I put in like 12 hours. I would say maybe 10.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I want to make sure I don't do the mistake what I did in Automata, which was like just keep going with the story, and then I miss out on side quests, or like I get halfway through a side quest, I'm like, oh, I'll go back, and then I don't. And then it goes too far, and you can't go back. Right. And I'm not sure how much of a chapter selector is in this game compared to the last one.
And I know with Nier Automata, there was critical side quests that you needed to experience organically, because they color the story in such a way where certain reveals or whatever feel that much better. So I have the exact same, because I own Nier Replicant. I pre-ordered it, haven't actually touched it yet, but I'm going to be doing the same thing that you're doing, like making sure, okay, take my time with this game.
Yeah, and I've been following like a guide to do a bunch of quests, and I did so now I actually jumped back in like recently the other day.
Okay, cool.
First time in a couple months since I moved. After I moved and whatnot, like I just haven't like sat down and touched anything because I just feel like there's so much other shit I just need to do, and I'm like, I'll just I know what that game was. It can be a little time consuming. There's a lot of running around quests, a lot of fetch quests, a lot of collect this, a lot of talk to this person. Okay, now they're telling you go back to the place you originally were and talk to this person, then go back, and it's like the stories are fine. It is a lot like Nier Automata in terms of the story. There's a little quirkiness to it. There is some like melancholy, elements to the story, being like, okay, this guy's life just sucks. Oh, this person's life sucks. Oh, this town sucks. A lot of that energy going on again. Same, obviously, art style and whatnot, so it looks cool, has the same feeling. There's another fucking desert, and there's like, it's much more linear, though, it feels, at moments. Like, to get to the one area to the next, there's like a straight path. There's less wide openness, like in Nier Automata, which I guess I like, because I'm like, I don't need to...
It's more focused.
Yeah, maybe. I can keep going and just be like, okay, I know how to get there.
Because Autonoma wasn't really a game to explore. That's
one of my negatives about levels. It, where it was very large and open, but then there was really nothing.
It wasn't like Breath of the Wild or anything, where it felt like there were secrets around every corner. Nier Replicant is a remake of a game from 11 years ago, so some of that stuff is just from 360 PS3 era stuff.
Yeah, but But I haven't really done too much of the story because I've been focusing on the side quests, and I got like the one trophy that was like do 30 quests or whatever, and I'm like, okay, maybe I should start doing some of the story now. And there's like some I guess trophies that you can just miss, and I'm like, okay, let me try to do these, but I'm not trying to get a platinum in this. It's more of just I want to make sure I'm not missing anything, like you said, of story or whatnot. And yeah, but it's definitely cool. It's definitely cool. I think I still like Automata more so far. I feel like it's a different, obviously, time period in this universe, so it's a little bit different. But there is shit that looks similar to Nier Automata that makes me think that maybe this is where this takes place too. Just different stories happening here. Music's cool. I still think I like Automata more because I've been hearing the same 3 tracks at this point. Having to travel from this spot to this spot. You can ride a boar. That's not really a spoiler or anything. You can ride a boar, and that's cool.
You can do that in Automata as well.
I don't think I've ever really tried. No,
there was a trophy for it.
Yeah, maybe I did. But regardless, like that's something you definitely should use. There's some puzzles that were a little bullshit, though. There's some puzzles that are bullshit.
Really?
And at least there's no save stations, by the way, unlike Nier Automata, where there's no save station until like
Nier
45
wanted to
minutes
do like a Dark Souls type of thing of like, or like people can find your body or something like that. It didn't really work out all that well.
Now, if you die, you just start back to where the checkpoint was or the save file. Yeah, which I'm like, you know what? Thank you, because this game could be a little bit difficult sometimes. But yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot. It's cool. I would definitely recommend it. I'm hoping to beat it next year. I don't think I'm going to beat it this year.
I will start it next year, and I would love to platinum it because I platinumed the 2 Yoko Taro games that I've ever played, Nier Automata and Drakengard 3. So I'd like to add Replicant.
I don't know how much harder this one is compared to those. I don't think it's. From what I was reading, it's not terrible. It's just there's some shit that you can miss. So
cool. And I'm sure that there's a chapter select or something that's possible.
I'm hoping.
As well.
I'm just worried there isn't. So that's why I'm like, let me just do these now.
Gotcha.
So,
all right. Well, I'm going to do a twofer. I'm going to put 2 games into one of these little slots. I don't have too much to say about either. And I know that they are both nominated. Well, I assume that they are both nominated, I guess I should say, for something. Guilty Gear Strive, fighting game that came out, Arc System Works, top of their game. These guys became huge after Dragon Ball FighterZ. They'd always made these anime 2D fighting games. Dragon Ball really like skyrocketed their notoriety, and they went back to their original IP, Guilty Gear, and made a phenomenally looking, playing, and even sounding in some degrees game. Mm-hmm. It's a fighter, 2D fighting game, very low amount of characters, which I like when when a fighting game comes out at launch, like Street Fighter V does, and there's like 16 characters, and I'm learning the game. It means it's easier for me to learn all the matchups. And Guilty Gear has less than 16. I think there's like 12. There's been a couple DLC guys now.
I feel like there were 6 when we played.
Yeah, very few, right? But I like that because when I go online, I'm actually seeing the same types of characters come out, and I'm learning the matchups against my character more. It is a weirdly easy game to kind of get into with, like, it's not very combo heavy. It's way more just like, what's your situation? You have options. What do you want to do? It feels less about like memorize the buttons and memorize like scenarios of like, when I'm in the corner, should I try to do this? Should I try to do that? How do I get out of this? I have one gauge that can be used for many different things. It's a gauge that requires you to always be aggressive. Otherwise, you lose the gauge completely. You lose your meter if you try to just back away. It goes away on you. It's online is really, really, really good. It has great rollback netcode. I've never felt like there was any like bullshit delay or that all of a sudden a character was in the middle of a special move that I didn't get to read ahead of time to block or anything. None of that happens. How it ranks you is brilliant. It places you in the middle rank. And if you keep losing, it recommends you go down and down, and you're safe from people that aren't that low, as opposed to starting you at the bottom and everyone and their mother is also starting there, and the good players are just trying to whoop kids' asses to get to the top. Here, it recommends a it's a tower. They recommend a floor for you to be at. And it always recommends 6. There's like 13 floors or whatever.
Yeah.
Starts everyone out at floor 6. Recommends floor 6 because you can play at any floor at your recommendation and higher. So it starts you out at 6. You can play 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You can go straight up to the number 1. You can fight the best of the best right out the gate. If you know you're good, you can do that. But if you start to lose a bunch, it recommends, why don't you try 5? Then you go down to 5. New players that just started, they can't fight you. But people that also suck can fight you. But if you do really well, it says, why don't you
also suck and fight?
Right? I mean, because like fighting games are the most fun when you're fighting someone at your skill level.
Yeah.
It's no fun to whoop someone's ass if they don't know how to play, and you do. And it's no fun to get whooped if you don't know that you can do a block that uses your meter and blocks from behind you as well. If you didn't realize that, then that's no fun to see someone that's doing it on you. You have no idea how to even do that, right? But if like you are doing really well, it says, why don't you go to floor 8? And then all of a sudden you can't fight 7 and 6 anymore. So it's a good thing of like, if you feel like you're ready to go up, you don't need to grind. You just go up if you want. And then it's like, hey, I noticed you won 3 matches on floor 9. I wonder if this is
the best way, like in terms of just like online games in general. Like people have issue with skill-based matchmaking sometimes. And I don't. I think there should be an algorithm that like puts me in games where like, hey, you have 48% chance of winning this game, or maybe 53, and it fluctuates between that range.
Right,
I like
it's exciting that way.
Yeah, I don't need to be thrown in with people who, have all day to play this game and also have the skill set. Add those two things together, and you have someone who's a god. I'm just trying to come back from work and play,
exactly
some games. I don't want to have to like get my ass handed to me and be like, okay, cool, thank you, yep. But so I wonder if this is a good compromise where like, hey, you can choose.
You just can't go lower than you can't fight noobs. So like when I was, because I had been streaming this game back in June when it came out, or July, whenever it was, and I was doing a bunch of online matches, and I found a guy who was trying to D rank so he could fight people at floor 1 or whatever. Because he would play, he wasn't idling or anything like that. He was actively going through the menus to hit rematch, because it doesn't, after a match is over, the default option is to quit. It's not to rematch. So the guy was toggling down and hitting confirmed. He wasn't AFK. He was choosing to do that. That dude has to sit there and do that forever.
Yeah. I like games that punish you
great.
For punish Smurfs. It's like one issue I've always had with Counter-Strike, and I think they've been trying their best over the years. Still not good enough, but that's one thing that I wish more online games would do, is find a system. And I feel like the system is, I shouldn't even say a compromise, just like a tool to help the good players get to where they want to go, help the bad players to go where they want to go, but also fight Smurfs who are like, oh, I'm bad at my own rank. I'm going to be the, basically the equivalent of a bully in school who's like, I'm just going to go beat up on the small kids because I can't beat up anyone my age.
Exactly. And I'm sure that they can easily detect people that don't fucking move. So then that guy has to probably actually try to fight but lose on purpose.
And if you have a good reporting system too, then you can just report people who are trying to idle or throw.
Exactly.
Because you can tell when people are throwing. Like, you can actually tell.
Exactly. I haven't played the game in a bit. I know there's been some DLC characters. This is one of those fighting games where the season pass for characters is a bit expensive. It's $25 for 6 characters. And I'm like, if this was a series, if this was like Street Fighter or a series that has legacy for me and I know who some of these people are.
I didn't even pay that for Mortal Kombat.
I'd be like, sure.
And I love Mortal Kombat. I still haven't even bought the DLC yet for that game because I'm waiting.
Yeah, there's no costumes. There's just different
like
colors.
$3.
But you have to buy the colors. So maybe I'll wait and see, because I found my character already. She's a witch with an electric guitar and she's badass. Mm-hmm. And I want her in Smash Brothers.
I thought you were going to end that with "I want her,"
and I want her. Really quick too, I want to just throw out another game I played and beat this year, and will not also platinum. Oh, Guilty Gear Strive has a very easy trophy list too. Doesn't require you to win online matches, just to try them, which is the best.
Mortal Kombat
because
had one of those where it was just like, play 25.
yeah,
I'm like,
that's
thank
perfect.
you. Cool.
That's even more than Guilty Gear. But like Street Fighter 5 is like get to like the 80 percentile or whatever on ranked. I'm like, I can't win 5 in a row. Like that's really hard for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. Another game I played this year, Resident Evil Village. Real brief. I was surprised at how fun it was to get guns and use them. I found it more fun in that game to find stuff to sell, to buy parts for my weapons, than it was really to like shoot and use them. There are more polygons in the giant lady's ass than the entirety of Resident Evil 1 has for anything combined.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was a very fun game, and the dude's name is Ethan. So I know that one's nominated for, I think, Game of the Year. I think.
Wow.
I think. Yeah.
Is there
It was very fun.
Category? Probably not enough horror games that are good
No.
enough to be. You're gonna have to look in the Steam workshop for some horror games.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I did play Mayor Bones' 1000th annual pumpkin competition or whatever it was. I played that on Halloween.
Okay.
It was on itch. It's a free game on itch, but you could have, I guess donated. Like you could have paid for it, but it was like, hey, it's a free game. And it was just, it's literally like, here's a pumpkin. You get to pick your pumpkin. You get to carve it. And then here is a server of a tiny little like spooky neighborhood, and you can see other people's pumpkins, and you can find a spot and place yours, and just walk around and look at other people's pumpkins.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's very cute.
You know what? I haven't even played that. You know what? That's Game of the Year.
There are so many Among Us pumpkins I saw.
That's awesome.
So
I love
many.
that everyone just
Some
like...
are brilliant. Some have like on the front of the pumpkin they do a vent, and on the back of the pumpkin they carve out the Among Us man. So when you look through, he's venting.
That is fucking
So you can
ridiculous.
see through it. Yeah.
I love that. Like Among Us is just like a meme, but they embrace it 100%. Like, good on them. That's funny.
Yeah, those are. I guess that was a bonus game, but those are a couple.
I have a couple of games I'll just list off. I'm not going to talk about because they're mad old and everyone knows about them. And then I'll finish off with one that did come out this year that I thought was cool. But first, I'll say Remnant from the Ashes. I got that on PlayStation Plus. I played that this year. I didn't remember I played it this year until we looked at my PSN profiles, and I'm like, oh yeah, I played that game this year. It's has Souls elements. Like there's a checkpoints you go to, and you can go back to a hub, and get more weapons and go back and do all that. The guns are cool. Auto aims for you, so I like that. Just aim and pray, baby. Not even have to pray. You just bullet go and bad guy. It's a little tough though. There was a wall I hit, and I'm like, you know what? This is where I'm going to quit. I'm sure people who like that game for those reasons. But yeah, Remnant from the Ashes, cool. Just cool. I give it like a 7 out of 10, whatever. You're gonna laugh, but Minecraft. I got into Minecraft for the first time this year with playing with my buddy Just Fine Not. He's been like he basically is like he knows everything about that game. So he's been kind of just he does everything that I ask, I guess. And it was really nice of him to like because he's like, hey, do you want to play Minecraft? I'm like, sure, I'll give it a shot. Like I don't know how to play or like how to make a server or anything. He's like, oh, I got us, and he just made a server. He if I have any questions, he answers them, and like he always has to save me from like falling in lava or getting attacked. But it's been fun. I'm slowly learning like how the game kind of works.
There you go.
And we're trying to build a castle, and I'm like, I get why this game is fun because it is fun to just build shit.
That was a game I played last year and platinumed, and I will never touch again because I got all those DLC trophies, most of them legitimately, and the act of trying to do the ones I got illegitimately, aka hopping in a server that instant popped them for me. I never want to play that game again, but I respect the hell out of it, and I'm proud of you for playing a Zoomer game.
Playing a Zoomer game, yeah. I'm realizing that's who I really am deep down. I've always been a Zoomer, Not that far off to see you're off, so. Yeah, Minecraft. I only say this because like I was trying to think of games that I played a lot of, and I've traveled a little bit this year. And one game I would go to on the plane or whatnot was actually two of these games, but the first one is Mario Kart one on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
I've just been playing that, trying to get a little better at it. Like I got up to the one where they reverse the track.
Oh, so you've played a bunch then?
Yeah, I got to that level, and I'm like, still getting my ass handed to me a little bit here and there. But there's a couple games where I'm like, hey, I finished third. Like, I'll take that.
Good. We should actually play that. I haven't played it really since 2017. But me and mutual friend of the show, David, we both got it like right away and played it a bunch. And you had played it a time or two with us, and you weren't good, and therefore I don't think you had fun.
It was very like, okay, I just know one of you two is winning, and I'm just going to try my best to not be dead last. But
David was always better than me because he was more consistent, and I hated that. It made me so mad that he was better than me at Mario Kart.
But I always play as the villager girl, because
Okay.
she's adorable, and she doesn't talk. I don't have to hear her quips. She just I get to ride my motorcycle, my Animal Crossing motorcycle, and stunt on them hoes as girl villager.
I always played as Rosalina from Mario Galaxy or Bowser, I think.
Or my second is Boo.
King Boo.
King Boo.
King. He's got a crown.
King Boo. Because he doesn't talk that much either. He just goes, bah. And I'm like, you know what? I like
These
that.
characters don't talk too much. They're Mario characters.
Well, I just don't want to hear Mario. All right, I don't want to hear woo 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 or whatever he does. I don't want to hear that.
Now,
shit.
if this was an NFT game, only one person would be able to own Mario.
NFT,
you ever
NFT
see that
racers.
tweet? Did you ever see that tweet?
I'm sure.
Or whatever. I think it was like a
NFT
newspaper article in like New York Times or something, proposing like, what if Mario Kart was an NFT game and you owned Mario and you got value added, and people were dunking on it so hard.
Yeah, like Mario's
Yep,
not...
Jimmy, you can't play as Mario in Mario Kart because some fat ass down the street owns him.
This other Switch game that I played a lot of, and you're gonna laugh because this game is old as shit. It's called Tecmo Bowl.
Really?
I'm like, I've always seen this game. Like, I've always seen it. I'm a football fan. I grew up on the Maddens and whatnot. And I'm like, let me see what this old football game is all about. Let me see how close it is to actual football, and just to see like how far maybe football games have come. And yeah, it's definitely dated.
They've come far.
It's come far. But it was weirdly fun for me being so restricted in what you can't, because you can only call 4 plays, and the defense is atrocious against the computer. Like, I try to just not like play and let the defense do its thing. Touchdown every time. So I'm like, I've gotten better at like reading what the AI is doing, try to bait him into throwing so I can get an interception. And, because it has like 8 teams, and like the game is, I thought there's a season mode, and I'm like, okay, so like maybe I play through a season, I have to try to get in the playoffs. Like, no, the season mode is you have to win every game. And if you don't win that game, you can restart and play that game again and keep trying. And there was one team, I forgot who it was. I think it was Los Angeles. I was playing as Denver, and Los Angeles, they beat me like 10 times straight. And there was one time I got to overtime, and I'm like, okay, I just need one defensive stop because they got the coin toss, and they fucking get like they did the craziest play happen, and I fucking lost. And that was the closest I ever got to him. So I had to like take a break from it for a couple of weeks, and then I got back into it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna beat this team, and I finally did. But I haven't played it in a while. I haven't touched my Switch in a couple of weeks now. But this
was that on the NES Classics?
Yeah.
thing?
So I just saw it there, and I'm like, you know what? Let's give this a shot. And I played that when I was flying or whatnot. But I also played it when I moved to Denver and I had nothing here. I'm like, all I got is a Switch. And I just kept going back to Tecmo Bowl, and I just would play it like an hour before I went to bed every night. And I was just like, let me try to beat this level.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but such a goofy game, but I just wanted to give it a shout out because it's so old, and I just thought it was funny that I was struggling so much. But I'm like, I was telling my dad about it because he used to have the game as a kid.
Yeah, Tecmo Bowl is like literally our parents' age. One of like the 5 NES games that they'll say like, oh, it's the best. Like that, Ninja Gaiden, then like Mario, Zelda, and Contra.
Yeah.
Tecmo Bowl and Contra.
So I remember showing my dad the NES classic games, and he's like, we played ice hockey together on there, and like
Ice hockey's fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
I don't really care for a lot of the Nintendo-made sports games on NES. Ice hockey was a little bit later, and I feel like there was more knowledge gained on how to make an NES game. Ice hockey's pretty fun.
Yeah, but I remember he was telling me like, oh, Zelda, yeah, I played that as a kid, and I thought that was just a cool moment there, being like, hey, yep, now all the games are free in this little box. And then last game is one that did come out this year, and I played probably about 15, maybe 20 hours in this game with people on stream. And you play a little bit of it as well, because it was free for a little while when it first came out. Knockout City. It's like a 3-on-3 dodgeball game. It's not really dodge. I mean, it is dodgeball. They kind of like that concept of hitting a guy at the ball. You know, they lose. They're either out or they. In this game, you have like 3 lives. So if you get hit 3 times, you're out permanently, or you lose, or whatever. And there's different like game modes pertaining to that. But I just found it very fun, and it's very just a reaction game because it's simplistic. Really, is you have 2 types of throws. You can throw like a upper ball where you throw it over something, and you have one that can throw around something. But you can catch any ball that is thrown at you if your reaction time is good enough, because you have a certain amount of time. And the amount of times you pass a ball, the faster the ball gets. But sometimes you want to throw like a slow one. You threw like 3 fast ones at someone, then you just throw a slow one, their timing is off. But it was just really fun to just mess with friends. And I'll probably jump back in it at some point. I know they're like on season 4 now or something crazy. I never got the battle pass or anything like that. But
Gotcha.
I did buy.
Yeah, this was the game that you bought currency before you actually bought the game itself.
Yeah, because it was some weird button I pressed or a glitch. I don't know what the fuck happened, but I was so pissed. I'm like, well, now I've got to get the game because I just spent $20 in currency. So I did that, but
it was free on PlayStation Plus last month. So
yeah, I grabbed that.
A lot of people got into it.
I don't know if there's crossplay or not with PlayStation. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's something. It's just a fun game to just, I think, mess around with friends. I like my games where I can just play with other people. I find that to be more fun than me by myself trying to beat something. I like the competitive team spirit.
It was fun when I played it too, but you definitely liked it more than me, I could tell. So
I would play that game in real life. If there was the way to play it in real life, I would play it in real life.
If I was fit, I'd consider it.
If we could jump around in space, basically.
I would be doing other things than playing dodgeball if I could jump around in space. I'll list off my last 3 games. I have the game I think is the best game I played this year, my favorite game of this year, and then my least favorite game I played this year / the worst. The game that I think is the best game that I played this year is Returnal. Housemarque's very, very much inspired by Prometheus. Very much inspired by Prometheus.
Shout out to Alien.
Yes.
Shout out to Ridley Scott, also, who said, stop fucking texting in the movie.
Exactly. He's the OG. I think honestly very much inspired by Prometheus. I mentioned it here on the show before, so I don't repeat myself too much, but I just really felt that like this was an awesome like shooter, third-person shooter that felt fast, that felt varied, that the guns all felt amazing. It did the thing that I said about Ratchet and Clank where the trigger can go halfway for one fire mode and alt fires to press it down. When you go to aim, the trigger will hard stop you halfway. So I'm comfortable stopping there. Unless I'm purposely trying to funk, funk, funk with my finger down, like as if I'm angry, it will always stop halfway that's for aiming. And then your right trigger is always for fire. But if you push past it, then you always get into alt fire mode for every gun. And it's always feels satisfying. So many different sound effects come out of the controller. I've mentioned it before, but the way like things like rain and other effects hit your character, you feel it in the controller, and it's done with acoustics to make the vibrations, and it feels just so good. It looks amazing. There's bullets on the screen like crazy, and I just like commend this team, Housemarque, which they've always made, by people's perception, very simple like concept shooting games of you're a spaceship and you move left or right, up and down in a cylinder and you shoot. That's called Resogun. Or Super Stardust, you're just flying around a ball shooting things. Or like Dead Nation, it's a twin stick shooter but it's top down. Seemingly simple from them jumping from that to like a legitimately worth it $70 AAA game. Just the jump in quality and the fact that they nailed it. To me, I do think this is the best game that I've played this year for sure. It's just very fun. Now, I didn't beat it. This is also a roguelike.
Bad gamer.
I think I stopped around the time Ratchet and Clank and Guilty Gear and Resident Evil came out, and I started playing all of those. So I will go back to Returnal at some point, but it was phenomenal. My favorite game that I played this year is the only Nintendo Switch game I played this year, besides maybe popping Smash Brothers in to see how Sora was, and Kazuya from Tekken. Metroid Dread is my favorite game of this year. I don't think it's the best game of the year. I think as far as Switch games go, easily one of the best looking games, the best playing and performing games. This is a game that actually looks stunning and runs at 60 frames a second. And that is not common on Nintendo Switch. I mean, even Zelda, which looks amazing, or Mario, which looks amazing, they're 30 frames a second. This game needed to be 60. Because the previous 2D Metroid games were 60 on the Game Boy Advance, and they felt fast and fluid and fun. You know, so many 2D Metroid type of games have been made by indie developers in between 2004 and now, which is when the last 2D Metroid game that was new and wasn't a remake of... Like, the 3DS game, I don't really count all that much, because it felt... it was a little weird. But like between that Game Boy Advance game in 2004 and now, so many indie games have come out that are inspired by this. And basically, at least from what I've seen and played, so many of them feel slow. They feel more methodical. They feel more exploration based. And the one thing that the Metroid series has always had is it's actually a fast combat game. You're shooting like crazy. You move very fast. And I was afraid that wouldn't translate because the 3DS game, it didn't translate. It didn't feel fast and fluid. And that game also was on a 240p handheld screen that was in 3D, which looked ugly. And it was like maybe 30 frames a second. And you didn't have 2 analog sticks. And it like so hampered. Here it's on a modern controller. They still don't use the right analog stick for aiming. It still makes you stand down, plant your feet to aim in any direction. But even that, they still made it feel very fast. It's a phenomenally like fun feeling game. I played it start to finish in 2 sittings on stream, beat it, and then we went on day 3 to 100% it, which I had fun, and I started a hard mode, and that was about the time where I looked like, hey, because I know this game has sequence breaking, which is not common in these types of games, and the sequence breaking stuff is what makes me think that like Super Metroid is the greatest game of all time, because if you know how that game works, it's designed to let you play it in any order and do it in any way you want. It's designed that way. It's not by accident. It's not like affects and, you know, glitches or anything like that. The game is designed to let you skip shit. And looking through, and like I saw a news article that said, yeah, this boss has a secret way to instantly kill it. If you sequence broke and got this one ability before the boss fight. Because normally you don't. And here's a cutscene. It has a cutscene to show you instantly kill it. I'm like, okay, these guys, because it's a Spanish team, Mercury Steam, studio in Spain, made this game. Okay, they get it. They get it. And then I'm looking through and I'm seeing like, yes, the way some of like the, not necessarily abilities you get, but like the way the movement kind of works, you can just kind of skip this whole section if you do this jump right. And that's like by design. And then you can get here, and then you can skip. And I'm seeing all the it's like when a new like Dark Souls games comes out, and people are finding shit for the first time. I'm looking through and I'm seeing like, oh my god, people are finding you don't even need to go to this area at all. What? You don't need to get this at all? What's the minimum requirement now? Because like Super Metroid, you need like 2 things.
How do they play test
to beat the game?
Shit?
I have no idea.
Because that's my question. Is like you say it's all by design. Like, do they actually know the minimum? And they just don't tell anybody.
Oh
or
yes.
Do they put in? Is there a way to like do that not artistically, but I don't know. Like, I'm not a game designer, but like maybe there's some sort of equation being like, okay, if we do this and then that, theoretically, then this should work this way. Like we don't even. It's not like more a manual thing that's done, but like, hey, as we're building these levels, it's more of a natural like. Hey, we're going to put this here. Like, I'm not saying there's like a set way in which they're constructing it. It's more of just, hey, we're going to have these little places where you can kind of cheat a little bit.
Yeah, and I think very clearly,
And
like,
it's up to
they
them to
nailed.
decide. Maybe we don't know the full minimum. Maybe we can have a general guess of what that minimum is, but
I do know that it's
we'll let
been
the players find that.
for sure Nintendo when they had designed the two games that are sequence breakable, Super Metroid and Metroid Zero Mission. Whenever you beat one of these Metroid games, after the credits roll, it tells you how fast you beat the game at. It tells you your time. Just how I first discovered speedrunning was a thing as a kid. I'm like, wait a second, this game is encouraging me to play it faster. And it tells you the percentage of items you collected. And now, like, this game and all the Metroid games have, like, extra health pickups you can find that increase your max health, or ammunition. Like, that's always, like, the things, like, if you're really exploring and you find this dead end, and this block was, a health max increase. Cool. Like, there's that. Oh, did you get everything? You have 100%. But in those two games, it also counts, like, abilities and main things that you get, main weapons, as a part of that percentage. So the lowest minimum in Metroid Zero Mission is 7%. That's the minimum that you can get. And I've almost done a 7% run. I got stuck on a boss because I had 5 missiles, which is one pack, because you need missiles at least once. And like, I can't beat this boss, that kind of thing. This game does a little bit similarly. It doesn't tell you your percentage because it's like there's different, like, little reward endings after the credits, and they base it more off your time than the time and the percentage. I feel like for this game, they just kind of decided, you know what? Here's how a slide works. Now, if you slide off a ledge, how many horizontal blocks are you falling as you go down? And at the last second, you could jump. So what would be, like, let's design around that, because it's a 2D game. I feel like it's just play tested the hell out of that game. The previous game, which was that 3DS Metroid game, came out in 2017. That was 4 years ago. They had 4 years to make this game, and I know they started it right away. Yeah. I feel like they definitely spent their time, and I appreciate it. I hope that they make a new one. I think it's sold. I think it's the best-selling Metroid game. It was the fastest to break to 1 million units.
But they're not going to make a new one because all you stole a game.
Yes, I remember that Kotaku article that everyone was flipping shit over. This is my favorite game of the year. I don't think it's the best. I think Returnal is still a better game, unfortunately, for Metroid Dread and my fandom of it. But it was just everything I wanted, like, legit. It played amazing. It had twists and turns. Very rare in one of these types of games, there's, like, new abilities or weapons. Nintendo like to just reuse the same ones because, hey, the last one came out X years ago. This is most people's first one if they're playing this one. Let's just do the same stuff. Here they had, like, it's almost like they looked back and said, okay, players can go from not being able to jump forever to being able to jump forever. What's a middle ground for that? A double jump. Players used to be able to get the morph ball and like go through all these, like, little tiny spaces. What if we don't give them to them right away and we let them slide under some types of things that the morph ball can go through? It felt like they, like, looked at, okay, instead of going from 0 to 100, what if in our upgrade path we give exciting new things that are just a little bit? There's, like, a warp dash in this game where you blink, like, several feet away, and it just feels fun. It's a very fun feeling game. I like to talk about the worst game of 2021 that I played. This is going to make a lot of people feel very sympathetic for me.
The visual novel we played?
This is worse than that game, my friend, because that game didn't delete my save file. I'm talking about Sonic Colors Ultimate.
Damn.
I was so fucking disappointed in that game.
They updated it, though.
Yeah, and guess what? Still delete save files, so I ain't going back to that shit until it's done. Straight up. I had pre-ordered that game. I got my Sonic Baby keychain. I did all that fucking bullshit.
Got that.
I beat that game in one sitting. That's how short that game is, which it's an old game. I can't really blame the upgrade. So glitchy. Still glitchy. So poorly mixed in its audio and some of its particle effects. Still like that now. Deletes your save file if you try to replay a specific level. Like, I get that the game was done on this weird new engine that's open source or whatever, and it's like, that's cool, great, guys. Blind Squirrel, I'm sorry. As we talked about in our episode, we think it's mainly Sega's budget and time that prevented ironing out all these kinks. But the kinks are there, and the game sucks. That's all I have to say.
Damn. Well,
That's all I have to say.
hopefully the next Sonic game will be able to do better. Just do better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hashtag do better.
Yeah. All right. That was all your stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Counter-Strike. That's it.
Yes. Wheelman.
Wheelman.
Yes. Yes. Deathloop. I played that once. I was going to mention that, but I only played it like 2 sittings, so not a whole lot to talk about. Let's now talk about the Game Awards, and let's talk about our predictions for the different awards, and then also what we think are going to be there potentially, or our excited things about it. We have a list of most of the nominees, most of the awards. We'll talk about
amount still. I mean,
most of them, but we skipped the esports stuff and stuff. We're going to go through those quick-ish. We're seeing a lot of these for the very first time.
Yeah.
And we'll just decide, how about we do this? We're each just going to say what we think will win, and if we have anything to say about it, we'll say why. But let's start with most anticipated game. So our 5 nominees for most anticipated game: Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Starfield.
Well, we know
it's very interesting that these are all first-party games except Elden Ring.
Starfield shouldn't even be allowed. No, I'm thinking of... That's not... Sorry, Bethesda. I'm thinking of... what's that game that has, like, a Kickstarter and has had a Kickstarter for, like, 8 years?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
What the fuck's that game? It's a star game. It's a space game.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, no.
Sorry, Bethesda. Sorry.
I don't think it'll be Starfield. I honestly think the answer, knowing the Game Awards and knowing, like...
It's going to be Elden Ring.
It's going to be Elden Ring.
With, and like maybe God of War. I would say is, like, the second. Like, maybe. Like,
I think, honestly, maybe Zelda.
I think Elden Ring is just too hype right now.
I don't think it's Horizon. I don't think it's Starfield. It's certainly Elden Ring, and it's a toss-up for second, in my opinion, between Zelda and God of War. I know Zelda Breath of the Wild is one of the best games ever.
I feel like Horizon's kind of just, people are like, cool.
Same. So yeah, I think it was unanimous. We think it's Elden Ring, and honestly, that's what I'm excited about as well. Next up, Best Debut Indie. Let's see what these are. Our 5 nominees are The Artful Escape, The Forgotten City, Kenna Bridge of Spirits, Sable, and Valheim. I haven't heard of 3 of these. Yeah, so for the best debut game created by a new independent studio.
The only one I've seen anyone talk about is Kenna Bridge of Spirits.
You have seen people talk about Valheim. That is that weird open, like... I haven't really seen anything about it, but I know so many people talked about it. It's not an MMO. It's not Dark Souls. It's not Zelda, but it's like it's not Elder Scrolls.
I think I might have seen it.
But it's like all these types of things.
But you can you're like Vikings and shit, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember.
That's what makes me think it's going to be them. That's what makes me think it's going to be them. Coffee Stain must be publishing it because Coffee Stain made Goat Simulator, so clearly this isn't their first time. And Annapurna looks like they published The Artful Escape. But Kenna I can see just because Sony had a big marketing push behind it. But I think it might be Valheim.
Yeah, half the Game Awards sometimes is just marketing.
Right.
Especially for most anticipated game.
Yeah.
I still say we need to make our own game. Just make the dopest fucking trailer and then never drop it.
Honestly... I feel like there was that game, I think it was last year's Game Awards, where we talked about there were so many new IPs that were just CG cinematic trailers that showed nothing.
That's what I'm saying.
How many of those will ever come out?
We spend the money to just get a great visual studio, right? To we just tell them a concept that just seems something we make something that's so crazy as a game concept that just isn't possible, but we just hype it up as such. Be the next big thing,
And then we just get awards and make no money off of it.
Yeah, but we're in the record books.
Your
Your name is in the record books. We'll get money off the journalism that people will be like, where did this game go? Is this actually happening?
Fair. We'll make people pay for interviews. Best
We'll union bus
multiplayer.
so that people can report on that too.
Yeah. Best multiplayer. Let's see. The nominees are Back for Blood, Knockout City, It Takes Two, Monster Hunter Rise, New World, and Valheim. I will throw this out there right now. I feel like it's probably going to be It Takes Two, because that was that unique and wonderful and beautiful, from what I've seen, 2-player only co-op game that requires 2 people to play it. The fact that they basically give you 2 copies of the game when you buy it, because you need 2 people to play it. And that studio, Hazelight, had made A Way Out, and it made Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, which are also that same idea of 2 people working together. Even though
it was made by that
Brothers
guy who was drunk, right?
Who said "fuck the Oscars"?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was by that guy. So he's obviously a Jeff Keighley favorite. I know you like Knockout City a lot, and I feel like that is like a black sheep. And I feel like so many people are not really happy about Back for Blood.
Yeah, I heard. Like I was kind of hyped for it, and then once I saw people who like really love Left 4 Dead play, and they're like, "Yeah, this isn't good. Like there needs to be something like it's boring, or it's like too hard." Some people said it's almost too hard at moments, or like there was a lot of issues with like this multiplayer, and that one zombie kind of sounds like he's saying the N-word.
I remember that.
Like, just, I mean, I don't know if it really obviously was, but like it was just a little bit too close. Where it was like, people were like, "Did he just say a slur?"
I feel like it's not going to be Monster Hunter, because I feel like the people that vote aren't really all that interested in Monster Hunter.
New World also could be there, because a lot of people I've seen talk about it.
Is it? But are they talking about it in any positive way?
And gotta remember, Amazon is hosting this Game Awards. You think they're not giving Jeff Keighley a couple grand on the side? Be like, "Yo, homie, give us New World." Maybe. We because like Amazon Games trying to get in the field. What better way to start getting in there? Say, wow, we made a Game Award game.
That's true. They've like closed down and shuttered half of all of their games except for that one. It feels like
a New World sponsored by Prime Gaming wins it.
Yeah. I feel like It Takes Two is going to win.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
It could also be Knockout City or maybe Valheim again, but I don't know.
Yeah. It's a toss-up, John. It's a toss-up.
Yep. I hate that they make you click the all categories again when you
get back. I'm struggling over here to... I keep missing, and I have to like go find it, the next one that we were talking about.
Best sports/racing game. Our choices are F1 2021, FIFA 22, Forza Horizon 5, Hot Wheels Unleashed, and Riders Republic.
Dude, that's one game I want to try out some point.
Riders?
Both Riders and Hot Wheels Unleashed, because I'm pretty sure you can buy Hot Wheels and put the car in the game. I'm pretty sure
as well.
Which is fucking dope, by the way. Like, that's like Amiibos, but with something that's, people, like, how many people... I don't know, like, how, if you have to get certain ones, I'm sure you can't just get, like, one that you've had sitting in your toy box.
I'm sure they have
but,
DLC codes, I'm sure, in each thing.
But still, it looked cool. And I had kind of fun with Team Sonic Team Racing, and it looked like that, but a little bit better. So I want to try that. I like my racing games generally.
I would love for that to win just because of it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's probably going to be Forza, because those games are always very well made.
I don't know. It depends on how many Twitch people are voting, because they're going to be like, I can't play any of the soundtrack because I get the MCA.
That's true.
And they have one song. If you turn off the DMC music, it's like one or two songs.
Oh my god!
And they're real bad like beats. But Forza's a game I wanted to play, because I think it's on one of the reasons why it was looking at like Game Pass was for that game. Riders Republic is cool. I heard it's a little buggy, but
it's a Ubisoft game, and it's
Ubi's kind of canceled right now. So
not even just that. I just mean like none of their games are ever like, cool, this was awesome. It's always like, this is fun, but this breaks. But this open world design feels grindy. But this is dumb. But the politics, or lack thereof, but there really is. It's always something but with Ubisoft games. But it's requiring you to sign in.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think Horizon's probably going to win. Forza Horizon 5.
Definitely not FIFA. Do they just not know who to put in? Like, no one actually likes FIFA. I don't think. Like, even the people who play it are like, no, I don't like FIFA.
I buy this game every year and I don't like it.
I don't like it. Madden sucks. Fuck, I'm buying it again, though.
Best sim/strategy game. Our options are Age of Empires 4, Evil Genius 2 World Domination, Humankind, Inscription, and Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Well, the scary lady figure, they look very spooky. I'll give them that.
Yeah, I've heard people on Twitter. Yeah, I mean that. I heard that was really good.
Yeah,
but people on Twitter have said Inscription was like fucking game of the year.
Oh, I've seen this game. I've wanted to play. I saw a streamer play a little bit of it for like a half hour. It's very spooky.
Anything about it.
Basically it's a card game, and from what I remember, there's like different animals do different things. But like you're playing against some dude, and you just have if you've seen that picture there, like he has his eyes there, and you could just see only his hand put out the card. It's very spooky. It's definitely on my list to play, and made by Devolver there. But we're biased here, so we have to cheer for Humankind as Sega.
It's a Sega, yeah. Yeah, Amplitude Studios. I've never heard of Evil Genius 2.
I feel like Humankind and Age of Empires will just cancel each other out because they just buy the screenshot.
They split the vote.
Yeah, they split the vote because it's almost like our political system. You know, there's some differences. You know, one I guess kind of cares, and the other one will out there say I don't care about you. Age of Empires I think kind of cares. I don't know about Humankind.
I just didn't realize Humankind came out.
See, they don't care.
I'm
gonna vote for Evil Genius.
Okay, let's move on to Best Family. Oh, it's family games.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, I just think I'm like the only family we know. Like, I guess could win is the royal family, but fuck them. But the Clintons,
the Kardashians.
Who else? I don't know many families. Do you know any more family? Kardashian?
I know my family. Could I win?
I don't know. We're not up, but
the Ethans.
The Ethans.
Best family. It Takes Two once again. Mario Party Superstars. New Pokemon Snap. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, and WarioWare Get It Together. This is basically every year the Nintendo category because the last 2 years I'm pretty sure it was all Nintendo games. So, Intelligent Systems made WarioWare. Oh, it's weird. Huh? They're not the people that made that.
I think It Takes Two could win this one if it doesn't win the other one we said earlier.
I think it's gonna win something. So yeah, but probably Mario Party. Because this was like the Mario Party that brought back all of this shit people loved from the original 3 on N64. It's like those boards. It's those mini games. It's kind of like a remake in that sense, but it's new.
I feel like
new Pokemon Snap came and went, though.
I never heard anything about it. I didn't know it was out.
I didn't buy it, and like, because I loved Pokemon Snap. Fucking awesome. But something about this one, I don't know, it just didn't.
I think it's more I think they're trying to hit the nostalgia thing, and it's like, wait a minute, do I really care that much to take pictures of Pokemon?
I think to me, I mean, you can even see in the picture, he's holding, like, I think that's supposed to be the camera, and it's like this digital thing. Like, I just like that first game. He had a camera, he had film. You know what I mean? I don't know, it just felt very like you going out and doing it, as opposed to like Pokemon's kind of their current thing of like somewhat future
more
tech.
Pokemon Snap is playing just Pokemon Go.
Probably.
Because the Pokemon's in your world and you could take a picture of it.
I love that picture they did for Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury.
I wonder how many nudes were taken with Pokemon Go. Just thought about that.
Probably a lot.
Like is there Pikachu like
Clefairy's covering her junk?
Yeah, like or like Pikachu's like sitting on a girl twerking or something.
I'm gonna give Best Family to. I would love if WarioWare got it because those games are hilarious and fun and just crazy.
He ripped his pants in that picture.
Yeah, he did a split and he just ripped his pants.
Is that why he's yelling? He's like, God, I lost everything in my groin area. It's gone.
You see the girl in the helmet in the back.
Yeah.
In the original WarioWare, Her little like story thing is she's speeding because she's late for work and the cops are chasing her, and she's trying to throw the police.
Hell yeah!
Like she's trying to like she's throwing like banana peels and shit at him. So yeah,
that's attractive.
Exactly. I don't know. I would like if WarioWare got it, but I didn't buy that game. So, all right. Best fighting game.
No, best fighting. Best fighting.
Yep. Our nominees are, Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, the Hinokami Chronicles. I didn't realize that was a fighting game. Guilty Gear Strive, which, hey, I played. Melty Blood Type Lumina. I didn't realize that came out. Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl, which I love their photo.
I love it.
And Virtua Fighter 5. I forgot about that. Ultimate Showdown, the remake / re-release.
We're biased,
Virtua Fighter
so we gotta pick Virtua Fighter 5.
Sure.
I kind of want, just based off the photo, Nickelodeon to win, because it's so tough. They picked like
it's a Smash Brothers ripoff, but like in the way that's good, I guess. Like it is unabashed.
Everything else is anime or cartoony. It's like, no, we got the original cartoons, all right? Nickelodeon.
Obviously, I'm biased towards Guilty Gear because I played that this year, but I did play Virtua Fighter 5 quite a bit before Guilty Gear came out, and I liked it.
Yeah, I've only played Guilty Gear Strive with you. I can't really, by that account, I would pick that one. But honestly, I have no idea.
I'm expecting Guilty Gear to win because out of all of these, it's the most known, and I feel like respected. Like a lot of people know about Nickelodeon All Stars Brawl, but I don't think anyone was like, "Yeah, this is fun." I think it was just
we're like, oh, we need this in like a competitive community for this game.
Right, exactly. Next up, best role-playing game. I'm assuming it's a role-playing game because Game Wars doesn't really want to say game after all these.
Hey, you.
Exactly. Our 5 nominees are Cyberpunk 2077, Monster Hunter Rise, Scarlet Nexus, Shin Megami Tensei 5, and Tales of Arise. I'm going to throw this out there right now. I am expecting most of the critical outlet vote to not vote for Cyberpunk, but a lot of the fans probably did. Because I think it's 80%, 20% for outlets versus like just people voting online. I think that's how it goes. Or like 90-10.
Yeah, it really sucked at Cyberpunk. Because, I mean, I did play a little bit. I almost mentioned that because I did play it into February, and then I just hard stopped for whatever reason. I remember exactly where I stopped. It was like in the middle of a fight. I'm just like, oh shit, I have to do something. I saved, and then for some reason I haven't gone back. Definitely a glitchy, buggy mess, but like I was having fun despite it. I.e. like Skyrim, where Skyrim can be buggy, but it was definitely more buggy than Skyrim. But I was having fun with it. Yeah. I guess I could say it's a little bit of a dark horse because it definitely lets you like do whatever really in that game. And then obviously the issues of CD Projekt Red coming out. So I don't know. Yeah, I just realized you have 2 Bandai Namco games competing against each other.
Yeah, Tales of Arise is like their like famous turn-based.
I don't know if Scarlet Nexus is like
but RPG
good
series.
enough to take it. Really,
honestly, I feel like
Shin Megami might be
the right 3 all are the same types of people that play them, and I feel like Shin Megami Tensei is such like a respected role-playing brand, and I heard that 5 is very good. I do want to get it. I just haven't gotten around to buying new games because I've been playing older ones, but I heard Shin Megami Tensei 5 is very hard and very awesome. So, but I didn't really hear too much about Tales of Arise besides like the 2 character models look cool. And then Scarlet Nexus, I've only really heard you talk about it today. So, and Monster Hunter, I feel like is just never going to win any of these things. I feel like it's too niche in how it makes people happy. I think, if that makes sense. I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be cool if Shin Megami Tensei 5 won it, but I don't know.
Yeah. I real quick, I always find it, not. I mean, I appreciate the criticism of like going back to CD Projekt Red with like, oh, it's a shame that this was nominated. We should the Game Awards should like not recognize anything like that. And it's like we all know that a lot of the other companies do shit too, just not the same level. And we never talk about it, especially with like crunching. Like how many of these games have we seen so far probably were made under crunch scenarios.
For sure.
You know,
For sure.
Just throwing out. Not saying I'm defending CD Projekt Red, because I definitely think they deserve the criticism, especially after the game being dog shit when it came out to most people. I just find it funny. And once again, we're who's hosting this Game Awards?
The Jeff Keighley's.
Not Jeff Keighley's. Who was it presented by?
The Amazons.
Amazon. So
Yeah.
let's all not get ourselves here.
True. Best action adventure for best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. Our 5 nominees. Hey, I played 3 of these.
Oh, the movie Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, Marvel's Guardians of the
just
Galaxy,
reviewed
which
that.
was a surprise game. Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village. Any single one of these can win, honestly. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy was such a surprise, both in its like announcement and the fact that it apparently is very, very, very good and deep. Metroid Dread was the, hey, wait, they made a new 2D Metroid game and it's fantastic. Psychonauts 2 came out and was like, whoa, this game is crazy good.
And I know a lot of people are hyped for that one. I hope Psychonauts 2 wins here.
Wins something.
Yeah. Even though I haven't played it, but it's on my long list of like
Same.
play.
And I wasn't interested in this game until I heard people say like, no guys, this is like
I've always liked the idea
greatest.
it's all like fucking mental illnesses and stuff.
It's just trippy too.
Yeah.
You know, it's so creative and
I have to drop
looking,
some acid before playing.
Yeah. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is such a visually beautiful and well-fun game with a great story. And Resident Evil Village is super popular, very fun from what I have played, and is like a good balance of like, yeah, it's a little scary, but it's also kind of fun.
If Resident Evil Village wins, they should have like a tall woman in the crowd like go up and get the award, like 100%. Like find a model out there who looks as similar as you can to.
She's like in the first fifth of the game, and that's it too, which is hilarious. But like people saw her in the trailers, are like, "No, she's the game, right?" Capcom nervously is like, "Yeah, we have to put her in all the marketing now."
Yeah,
you know, even though she's the first one to die in that game. Honestly, I have no idea. I would love if Metroid Dread won, obviously, but I'm kind of with you there. It'd be cool if Psychonauts 2 won, because I feel like out of these 5, I feel like that might be the least likely.
Yeah. Maybe I would say
though.
Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, maybe too, because less time for people to play it.
Also,
Perhaps.
people are kind of like... It's cool to hate on Marvel now, so...
I'll say too, this is the first nomination award thing we looked at where all 5 of the photos actually look really cool.
Yeah. There's not Patrick drooling in SpongeBob. Like,
exactly. Like that's a screenshot.
Yeah,
like this is all beautiful artwork.
Yeah, they're like, wait, this website is due to go up in 2 hours. Does someone got a screenshot of this
Nickelodeon never got back to us, so I guess we'll pick something.
Like, does someone own this game?
Exactly.
In the office
I have a transparent like 30K pixel with photo of that Metroid Dread render. It's like gigantic, and it's like no background. It's just her sliding. I'm like, this is awesome. Like I found it off their press assets. That's not supposed to be public. Yeah, I want Metroid Dread to win. I think it'd be awesome if Psychonauts 2 win. I honestly, though, if I were to pick which I think is the most likely, I think it might be Ratchet and Clank.
If Ratchet's Game of the Year, then I think it needs to win this award.
Yeah.
Unless it's in another one. We haven't seen it yet.
We'll find out.
I feel like Game of the Year always wins at least one other one. It just feels
and
right,
it feels
too.
like it should be. Yeah.
If you don't win anything else and then win Game of the Year, either A, you're close second in all of those, or it's rigged.
Moving on, Best Action Game. Our 5 nominees are Back 4 Blood, Chivalry 2, Deathloop, Far Cry 6, and Returnal. I was not expecting this for our Best Action Game. For like
Especially
Back 4 Blood and Deathloop.
Yeah. First 2.
Like Chivalry, yeah, sure, is a combat-focused game.
And I know a lot of people liked that game when it came. I don't know if people are still playing it, but remember seeing a lot of
Right.
clips of it, and I watched some people play, and it looked really fun.
I will shout out for
Action.
Deathloop here. Weird that they picked that for Deathloop, that photo. You played Prey, right?
Yeah, maybe. Right?
Okay, this is the same studio.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily say that the combat in that game was incredible, and their previous games, Dishonored, they never really felt incredible
Batman,
play.
right? Or that's
No, that's Rocksteady. They made Batman.
I'm thinking
Arcane-
So I'm thinking of
Arkham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, Prey, Dishonored, and they made other things in the past as well. As apparently they initially, at one point, were making a licensed Half-Life game that got cut.
Half-Life 3.
None of their games really felt very fun, actiony. It's just like the cool stuff you can think of doing and kind of pulling off, and how you want to play through the game. But Deathloop actually does feel very fun to play. It's fun to just kill people. I will throw that out there. I don't think it's the best action game though. Returnal very clearly is for me. I never played Far Cry 6. I guess I never played 3 of these games, but I feel like Returnal is very clear to me from what I know about all 5 of these.
To me, action too has to be because of the
Constant
description.
moving. And,
Yeah, and the description is for the best game in the action genre focused primarily on combat. And I mean, Far Cry 6, there's definitely moments where you're probably reading and sitting down and interacting with people when at least...
Returnal is nonstop.
Yeah, and I would at least say for Back 4 Blood and Chivalry, like at least, the whole point of the game is to kill shit.
Yeah, and those are multiplayer games too.
Yeah.
Which almost don't really feel like they should count because, of course, you're competing against other players. You know what I mean? But at the same time, that shouldn't mean that you couldn't be nominated.
It's not like you can like if someone said chess is an action game, I'd be like, no, because there's not any action. A lot of stopping and going.
Yeah,
But I mean, I don't know. No way Far Cry 6 wins.
Yeah, no.
I heard
my money honestly is on Returnal.
I would say Returnal, and I'm going to say second. I'm going to say Chivalry 2.
Okay.
Maybe he's underdog. Maybe
Let's move on. Let's go to best VR AR game. Hitman 3, I Expect You to Die 2, Lone Echo 2, Resident Evil 4. Hey, that was on there. Sniper Elite VR. I know Hitman 3 has a VR mode on the PS4 version only, not PS5. PS4 version only of Hitman 3. Expect You to Die I've never heard about.
I just realized
Lone
he
Echo,
has the
PSVR thing on.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. Resident Evil 4 is one of those things where it's an old game retrofitted to VR, but I heard this one's actually very good. Because I own Skyrim VR. It's the full game in VR. I own Borderlands 2 VR. It's the full game just in VR. None of those feel like, obviously, they were never designed for VR, number one. And they never felt like they did too much good of a job making it work in VR. There's still, like, caveats. From what I've heard about Resident Evil 4, they actually fucking did it. And it feels like a good VR game, first and foremost, and not just that game you played before, but in first person, out your own eyeballs. So, but I never heard of Lone Echo 2 or Sniper Elite VR.
I think it's
or
gonna
I
be
Expect You to
Hitman.
Die. You think?
I just think Hitman is always popular, and I just think out of all these, I've heard more about it. And like how many people have played Resident Evil 4? Like I said, I only heard about it coming out like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it's true. But also recency bias. It's tough. I'm with you. This could be anything. Next up, innovation in accessibility. Our 5, and I guess we'll have to really look into see why. 5 nominees are Far Cry 6, Forza Horizon 5, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and The Veil Shadow of the Crown. All I know about any of these 5, Ratchet & Clank has basically The Last of Us Part 2's accessibility stuff with the different color filters and just text sizes and all that stuff is in that game. The other 4, I have no idea. I've never heard of The Veil. So it must do something that gets what it's known about. You know what I mean?
Forza is. I wonder if like
maybe it's like the car could be blue and objects are red and everything else is grayscale. Maybe it does stuff like that.
Yeah,
or maybe just
controls. Like maybe like they have
maybe they have like an actual like design mode for the accessibility controllers Xbox has.
I mean, yeah, it's on Xbox,
right?
And PlayStation, PS5, but I know Xbox has that one controller there. Don't know about Far Cry 6. I've played Far Cry like a little bit, like doing like remote play or whatever with people before, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, bro. So I don't know how.
It's not very accessible.
Like I'm like, what? How do I? Oh, I'm dead.
Yeah. Presented by Chevrolet. I have no idea. I honestly do think.
Chevrolet.
I think that The Last of Us won it last year. I'm pretty sure, and it's basically the same shit as just in Ratchet and Clank, and like how much buzz and just like. They made like behind the scenes videos that were like super well, like people jerking them off essentially about how great it was. And it's fantastic, but like I just remember with The Last of Us, people took it almost in like a haha.
In one of the
greatest
videos,
game ever.
Actually, you can see a Neil Druckmann in the back getting a blowjob.
Exactly. I just mean like the fans doing it.
Yeah, I know.
So I can see that same stuff translating over to Ratchet and Clank since it's another Sony thing. But I don't know. This could honestly
I'm
be
curious what Guardians is too.
Same. Yeah. Who knows?
I'm just glad this is an award, though. I think it's cool.
Right. Best community support.
And we were laughing about this one because we're like, what's the best customer service?
Yeah, exactly.
Who has the best social media social customer care?
Recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates and patches. Our 5 nominees are Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky. This fucking No Man's Sky announced at the original Game Awards. And it's just nominated for fucking everything every year. It's like in here every year.
You know what I'm gonna say? You know who the real? You're gonna laugh. I'm gonna say Fortnite only because they were willing to go to court to fight for the Apple users. And what better community support is than that?
Yeah.
Willing to go to court. I mean, I know it really wasn't for that reason, but they wanted to make sure the V-Bucks were cheaper for them and the Apple people. You know what I mean? They were looking out for the Apple. How many people were going to sue anyone else?
That's fair.
So shout out to Epic.
I will throw this out there, though, too. Not necessarily as a counter, but I'm throwing it out there. Games get delayed all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All the time. And most of the time, it's just like, yep, this game's delayed. Suck it. Thanks for your pre-order money. It's delayed. You know, it's like a lot of that mentality. Final Fantasy XIV, its newest expansion comes out in like tomorrow or something like that. It's called Endwalker.
Uh-huh.
That was supposed to come out 2 weeks ago. And they had the most heartfelt and apologetic, like, delay announcement. Like, they were so, like, apologetic and sorry about it. Like, we're so sorry. Exactly. And how they're rolling it out, too, is they're like, cause like they put out a thing, I think, yesterday being like, hey, a lot of people are going to be getting into this game at once. It's going to overload our servers. We're going to try to work through it, this and that. And, like, I'm seeing a lot, and it's, like, very well known in, like, the MMO community, I guess. Final Fantasy XIV is, like, the best one in a sense. Like, it's sure, like, Warcraft is this legacy and everyone has an account or whatever, you know. But apparently FF14 is like the one where, like, hey, it's designed that you don't need to be subscribed all the time. You can just come back in a few months and you will always be able to play this content with people. We're not vaulting anything. Yeah. Destiny 2 apparently has vaulted so much shit that people had paid for, like story stuff, so that they don't have to support a whole bunch of stuff at once, you know?
A lot of people like Destiny too, though.
Yeah, but it's just weird that's on there, because that happened this year where, like, $200 worth of stuff is not playable.
Jesus Christ.
From what I remember someone saying, so... But yeah, I don't know.
No one likes EA, so it's not Apex Legends.
Yeah, and I feel like people are kind of done saying, good job, No Man's Sky, you came back by now. I think people by now are like...
It's been like 8 years, right?
That's what it fucking feels like.
Like, everyone
was
No Man's
announced
Sky
8
was
years ago.
announced, and I was like an edgy teen. Like, that's how long it's been.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I was in early college. Like, that's 8 years ago.
I like how this Fortnite photo has like a Frozen lady knockoff, Carnage, and a monkey in the background.
Fortnite isn't even like... It's crazy how Fortnite isn't even like... What is Fortnite anymore? It's just other IP.
It's just similar looking artistic directions of other people's property.
And they get away with it.
Yeah. It's so funny. My vote is on none of these because I haven't played any of these games this year.
Fortnite. Go Epic.
Sure.
Because they sued Apple. Yeah. And we have to pick a corporation to side with. I'm picking Epic. Sorry,
fair enough.
That's what I'm signing my life to.
Speaking about Apple, let's do best mobile game presented by Verizon. Hey, that actually makes sense. Our five
finally
nominees.
A sponsor that makes sense. Sorry, Chevrolet.
Why didn't Chevrolet do the best sports racing?
Something like that. Exactly.
Our 5 nominees are Fantasian, which is the original Final Fantasy creators' mobile game, Genshin Impact, League of Legends Wild Rift, Marvel Future Revolution, and Pokemon Unite.
What's Pokemon Unite? What? Huh?
Pokemon Unite is a League of Legends game, starring Pokemon on your phone or your Nintendo Switch.
News to me.
And it blew up.
Also,
blew up, and then I don't hear anything about it.
Fantasian looks near as fuck. Just in that one picture.
Yeah, it's because the white hair and the
white
headband
hair and like
on a dude.
Yeah,
because that is a guy. I own this game, Fantasian, because it's an Apple arcade game. Tied it a little bit, but I just want it on a console. It's stuck on Apple platforms, but it's the like original Final Fantasy team.
Reminds
they
me
don't work
to
at Square
cancel
anymore.
My Apple TV that I've never watched.
Be on it, because it's been about a year since you got your iPhone,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, cancel that. Don't let it roll over.
I don't think I started it till like February because I was like, let me wait until I want to watch something, and then we were like, okay, let's do it now, and then we didn't watch it.
Smart. I've never heard of Marvel Future Revolution. I've never heard of Wild Rift, of the League of Legends
Genshin Impact.
spinoff.
We already know what it is.
It's probably going to be Genshin Impact because it's a fucking full console game on your phone. You know? That game's on my PS5, and it looks like a PS5 game. Okay, best indie. This one's going to be interesting. 12 minutes. Oh, no. Death's Door, Inscription, Kenna Bridges Spirits, and Loop Hero. 12 minutes has Willem Dafoe, but apparently is also like really much about like rape or something, and then like a very David Cage like way from everything I've heard.
Picture shows a woman tied up. It looks like she's tied up, or at least she's. Wait, why are her feet upwards?
No, they're not.
And then she's looking. Is she twisted in half? I don't know. But then there's another person on like a burglar or something on another guy who has a white shirt on and some khakis, like he just got home from the office. And it's a top down and like looks like a studio apartment or something. Yeah. What, you have 12 minutes to kill the burglar?
This game was announced like feels like 2 decades ago, and it had just been to every PAX, every Gamescom, and it finally came out, and it was like, oh, this is like a David Cage embarrassing art and story, unfortunately. So that's my only impression. I didn't play it.
Okay.
Death's Door, I heard, is very fun. You're a little crow
looks
person.
Cute. Looks cute.
But it's like a top-down kind of Zelda game, but very action-heavy. You got your Inscription, which we talked about earlier. Kenna, which we talked about earlier. Loop Hero is another like indie game that everyone's like, oh, this is so addictive. You know, it'd be great if Loop Hero was on every platform. That's all I know about Loop Hero.
Is it just on PC?
I think it's just on like either PlayStation or just on Xbox, because I know someone was like, if this came to Switch, I wouldn't have a job.
Damn.
That's how addictive it is. I think Death's Door might win, but at the same time, it could be any of them, even 12 minutes. Because I know that, like, just because a lot of people be like, oh, David Cage And this isn't David Cage, but it's very much
Or what?
like
Maybe,
it,
hey,
from what
he
I've
got
heard.
sued. Maybe he has an undercover name now.
Exactly. He took over the other company.
And now his name is Louis Antonio. Or Louis Antonio.
For a second, I didn't understand why you just threw out that name, but I get it now. Louis Antonio. Go Inscription.
My name is Anna Purna.
Oh my god. Best ongoing game. Award for a game for outstanding development, ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. 5 nominees. I feel like this is the same from last year. I think this is the same list from last year.
Except for Genshin Impact, I think might have been the only one that
Fair, because I think it came out last year, right? Apex Legends, Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite, Genshin Impact, and Call of Duty Warzone. Not Warzone.com.
Fuck Call of Duty Warzone.
Yeah, fuck
All my
Call of
homies
Duty
say
Warzone.
fuck Call of Duty Warzone. Even though I did like it a lot last year, but once that lawsuit came out, your boy picked sides. Okay.
We picked sides.
But I also picked another side, and it's Epic Games. Go Fortnite. Let's go, baby. Best ongoing.
I haven't played any of these games this year. I don't really know much about their updates. You know,
Every
I'm
time I
always
dip out of
biased with
Apex,
Square,
I
but
feel like 5 new characters come out.
yeah, we didn't play it at all this year. Or at least
I played like a couple hours, like in like May with someone else. But
yeah, I
no,
never
we
touched
did play this year, didn't we? In like
I know.
April.
Nope,
I'm pretty sure we did.
I didn't touch it all this year.
No, we played on that map that had the PS5 building.
That was last year.
No, it wasn't. Was it?
That was last year.
Bro,
That was last year.
what's happening?
I know. There's so many Remnant skins I missed. Now there's another robot,
Yeah,
another killer
I
robot,
saw that.
and it's a she. So I have a waifu for my Revenant husbando. I can make a family with these two.
Like the movie Robots.
Exactly. Fuck this category. For no particular reason.
Go for it.
Go Apex. Okay. Next up is
Games for Impact.
Games for Impact. For a thought-provoking game
Third
with
Impact.
pro-social meaning or message. Before Your Eyes, Boyfriend Dungeon, Chicory, Colorful Tale,
I already Boyfriend Dungeon.
Life is Strange, True Colors, and No Longer Home. I've never heard of No Longer Home. Boyfriend Dungeon,
Looks
I
like the
heard, was
cat
very
is
good.
like, hey, you haven't been home in a while.
Two comments. Boyfriend Dungeon plays similarly to Hades, from which I've heard, and you get to date all your weapons. Although it's hilarious that I think the only female weapon you can date is the one they show in the picture for Boyfriend Dungeon, because it's
Yeah.
all hot boys. And Chicory, I follow people on Twitter. I follow people that made the game on Twitter, so I see a lot about Chicory, and apparently it is very creative and wonderful. And then Life is Strange is very popular.
Yeah.
So this was the only Life is Strange where I'm like, nah, that power seems like it sucks. You don't get to rewind time. You don't get to, like, I think it was telepathy or telekinesis in 2. This one is she just feels other people's feelings, and it just doesn't feel as interesting to
So
me.
you're a walking mood ring?
Exactly. Fuck it, Boyfriend Dungeon.
Boyfriend Dungeon. I mean, we're all for boyfriends up in here. So
Yep. All right. Next one is
best score in music.
Best
huh?
Performance.
Wait, I read that wrong. You're right. Best performance.
Awarded for, whatever. We have Arika Mori as Alex Chen in Life is Strange. Gonzalo Esposito as Anton Costello in Far Cry 6. Jason Kelly as Colt in Deathloop. I think he was Barrett in Final Fantasy VII. BT dubs. Maggie Robertson as Lady Demistru as Resident Evil Village. Because of the popularity of that character, I guarantee it.
100%.
And Ozoima Akaga, as Juliana Blake in Deathloop. Okay. They are very good in Deathloop. They are very charismatic.
Got 2 death loops.
They're both very funny.
That's cheating. They get 2 death loops.
Dude, I feel like I think 3 of the 5 for last year were Last of Us.
Yeah, I think you're right. Right? It was
Or at least it was
Ellie and
Abby and Ellie.
yeah,
And
there
then it
was
was
the dog.
our
that played all the other dogs. That's very
yeah.
could play all the different types of dogs. The scary dogs.
There was
the nice dogs.
there's the guy from Hades. last year, which I wanted to win, but he didn't. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, guess I played the game from 3 of these people's nominees.
It's gonna be
Giancarlo. He's gonna be Jean because he's an actor. That's all.
It's gonna be Maggie. Bet.
I could see that.
Maggie or it's either Maggie or him though.
I can see that. But I will shout out to Deathloop because it's actually very well written. I wasn't expecting that. And they're very funny. They're very good. He has like amnesia and he doesn't really understand why like the game starts with her killing him. He's like, I don't understand. And then like when she pops up in his earpiece, he's like, oh, did we date or something? And then like she says something later, it's like, oh fuck, we dated. And it's just, I don't know, it's just very funny. It's like, I don't know. I'm not explaining it very well, but next up, best audio design. Recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design.
Counter-Strike.
No. Deathloop, Forza Horizon 5, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Resident Evil Village, and Returnal. So I played 4 of these games.
Wait, which one did you do? Was not best score and music?
I did best audio design.
Oh, I missed that one. I forgot. Best audio design. Okay. Yep. I guess my joke about CSGO is less funny now because I thought we were doing
music.
Best score music because there's just one song in the menu screen that everyone mutes.
Like. I have a feeling it's going to be Returnal because it's going to also tie into the fact that the controller uses sound design to do the raindrops and shit. But Deathloop sounds very good as well.
Maybe Forza just because like car sounds and shit, like it's a lot of work to like
a lot of Foley work.
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank also, like, every fucking weapon sounds awesome to use and shit. So I will throw that out there. But I feel like it's going to be Returnal. I feel like that's a slam dunk for them. Now we have best score and music.
Okay.
Our 5 nominees are The Artful Escape, Cyberpunk, Deathloop, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and Nier Replicant version 1.22474487139. It's going to be Nier.
I think the runner-up
is going to be
Cyberpunk. Because that soundtrack is kind of banging. Like when you're driving the cars and shit, and it's like boom, boom, and there's like different different music stations. Like they have like a futuristic version of like each thing, and it's pretty cool. Like the metal station, I'm like, okay, like I hope metal goes kind of in this direction a little bit.
Okay,
and the dubstep's pretty cool, but
probably
it won't get votes.
Throw out to Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy for all the licensed tracks that they use. That I'm sure is why it's in here.
Well, it says Richard Jacques as composer, so I'm assuming they did.
Yeah, I mean, they're just like your Forza. This is a DMCA free mode, but it actually has original music, so you're right. So that's probably what it's up for, is the Met music.
But yeah, I think Nier is going to win. But I think
it's a slam dunk.
Cyberpunk would be the second.
Nier Automata won when it was nominated.
I don't know, maybe the guy with the guitar could win. Like out of everybody, everyone else has like swords and shit and guns. Now, I don't know how much music you can make with that, but this guy has guitar. Maybe I'm cheering for that guy right there.
Best art direction. Our 5 nominees are The Artful Escape,
guitar.
Damn,
guitar
again.
Man.
Deathloop, Kenna Bridge of Spirits, Psychonauts 2, and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. It's going to be Psychonauts.
Come on now.
Psychonauts. Followed by either Ratchet or Kenna. Really?
Yeah.
Followed by either of them.
I don't know. Kenna just gives me Frozen vibes.
It looked very, very good visually.
Yeah, I'm just saying in this screenshot, I'm just seeing this and I'm like, this is from Frozen 3, right?
Sure. But Ratchet and Clank was just so beautiful as well. And I feel like you also kind of combine the different Rifts and Portal stuff, but it is going to be Psychonauts 2. It just is.
It better be.
It just is.
It better be.
Okay. Down to 3 left. Best narrative. Our 5 nominees: Deathloop, It Takes Two, Life is Strange, True Colors, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and Psychonauts 2. I am surprised Ratchet isn't in here, honestly.
No narrative. And they don't mean story. They're talking about what like political narrative are we trying to spin here.
Sure. It will either be It Takes Two or Psychonauts 2. But Deathloop seems interesting from what I've played. Obviously, I haven't finished it.
I feel like Life is Strange.
It's just a narrative, so
You'd think that maybe
it
should be up there.
And I heard Guardians of the Galaxy is actually very funny and very well written and very detailed in its story and shit. But I haven't played it. But I feel like all the mental health stuff in Psychonauts 2 and just the fact that it's going to be a trippy, wacky, and hilarious ride. But then also It Takes Two is about two people like breaking up and then trying to get back together. And I don't even know if they do at the end.
I don't know. I think it depends maybe how you play it. I'm not sure. It's one of those kind of things. I hope not.
Yeah, it could be.
I hope their relationship sucks.
I will throw my my hat at Psychonauts 2. I think that one will win.
Psychonauts 2 followed by It Takes Two, and then Life is Strange, True Colors. That's my rankings.
Probably. All right, Best Game Direction, awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design.
Returnal.
Deathloop, It Takes Two, Returnal, Psychonauts 2, and Ratchet & Clank. It honestly could be any of them. I think it might end up being...
I just say Returnal based off the things you've said about like controller shit and whatnot, and like putting that with the game, and like that's pretty revolutionary considering the hardware just came out.
Yeah, I can also see it being Ratchet and Clank just because of just how well done it was, and It Takes Two is also very unique in this day and age. And Deathloop, honestly, I
feel like a lot of people weren't high on Deathloop. Like, there was hype around it, and then people were like, it was cool, but not.
I will say this. Deathloop's, its cool idea is something that is similar to Dark Souls. So you're playing through the story as this one guy, Colt, and then the other person in that best performance, Juliana, is another player that invades your world. Not invades your world, but like another player can control that character and try to hunt you down. As you're trying to, it's like, imagine if you're playing Hades and I could pop up in your game and ruin your run.
That's fucked
So
up.
there's
That's
that
toxic.
level to it as well.
You know, that game's canceled. It's too toxic.
Um,
I don't need another person who's better than me to come in and ruin my day. All right.
I have never won against one of these people, except the one time it was the tutorial and it was an AI. But I'm sneaking through it. I was trying to do
How do you even
same...
get that character? Can you just choose in the beginning, like, hey,
the beginning of the game,
I want to ruin
it gives you the
day?
option of playing as Colt through the story or Juliana as protecting the story, so to speak. You only get to play as her until you've gone through like the tutorial hours, and I did that, and it's very early on. But I haven't touched her yet, and I'm playing through as Colt. I'm trying to go, because you're supposed to kill these 8 people in one loop. And it's really tough. But I'm just trying to learn each about them. So I picked this one lady, trying to kill her. Every time I start this thing, it says Juliana has invaded. I'm like, fuck. And this is the shitty username underneath it. And I just see this, because like I'm stealthy and sneaking around, and I just see this lady bunny hopping around, just doing 360 turns. I'm like,
too, a little bit, like you're trying.
Imagine if you were playing Prey and like someone that none of the bad guys try to kill because they're on their side is just running around just searching for you with a shotgun. I'm like, fuck, it's tough. But I'm still early in this game. I think Returnal probably could take it. I think so. We have our final one, Game of the Year. Our 6 nominees: Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village. I would love if Metroid Dread would win, but I don't think it will. This is where I, honest to God, think that the Sony clout comes in and takes it with Ratchet & Clank. Honestly.
Yeah. I think the underdog, not an underdog, but maybe second would be Village.
I feel like Village is honestly last, just of how forgetful it will be in this particular conversation. I feel like the underdog is very clearly It Takes Two, and Psychonauts is like going to be one that people want to win. Metroid Dread is also one that people would just want to win, and Ratchet and Clank is just going to be the assumed winner. Maybe not Deathloop. Maybe that might actually be last.
Yeah.
Behind Resident Evil's clout. Because as much as I love Resident Evil Village, it wasn't that amazing. And I didn't feel the same way in that game that I felt in Ratchet or Metroid Dread.
Gotcha. I'm just saying, trying to think of hype.
That's true, too.
And accessibility in terms of, like, how many people have PS5s.
Oh, for Ratchet?
Yeah. That would be its only thing hurting it. You can even argue that with Dread.
But, I mean,
Switch,
again...
But Mario's won before, easily.
Yeah, I don't think platforms really matter because, again, the votes really do just come from outlets that have the ability to own a PS5. You know what I mean? I would love if Metroid Dread won. Honestly, that was my favorite game of the year. I'm surprised Returnal isn't on this list. Honest to God. I'm surprised. I'm glad Psychonauts 2 is on here.
I think Returnal should be where Deathloop is.
Probably.
Or Resident Evil, one of the two.
Yeah.
Just in terms of, like, hype, though, I'm just like, I feel like once Deathloop came out, it was just, like, gone.
Yeah, well, what's crazy, too, is
that's why I say Resident Evil's a little bit higher, just because of...
I get it.
People still talk about that game on Twitter and whatnot, being like...
She was really tall.
Well, I'm just saying, like, oh, this was fun. Like, it was a fun game.
That's true. Deathloop, for me, had a problem. They kept fucking showing that game, and it was the same idea over and over again, just explaining it the same way. And then I play the game expecting what I thought I saw, and it wasn't that way. I thought this was more of like a roguelike of like, all right, here you're on the island, you have these 8 people. It's actually kind of mission and level based. And I wasn't expecting that. I didn't understand how the time mechanic went. I was rushing because I thought I was being timed. No, you can take your sweet ass time. I didn't realize that because I'm like, why would I go stealth? I need to go.
Not an open world, but like a big island where like
there is 4 large areas. And whenever you leave that area to go to a new one, time advances from one. There's like 4 time periods. So basically, you can go everywhere once. And you're trying to basically kill all 8 people in one day. But I thought it was just a giant island, and it was like almost kind of like a Fallout or Skyrim.
Yeah, but if you take
in
out
terms
one guy
of like
before another one, that might change.
Yeah, like you can try to. I think in one of the trailers it was saying how like, oh, this one of the 8 people is always trying to work on this experiment. It doesn't work. He had an invitation to the party, but he never goes because he's trying to get this thing to work and it doesn't. So if you behind the scenes do something to make it work, he can go to the party. So then he goes to the next area so you can just kill him with someone else who might not be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of the puzzling is just trying to figure out how to make it possible to do, which seems very cool. But I don't know if it's necessarily game of the year. Metroid Dread is my favorite game of the year, but I don't think it was the best. But it also deserves to be in the 6. Don't get me wrong. Ratchet and Clank, I feel like obviously it just has that Sony money, budget, time, clout behind it, and it's a good story, and it's fun to play. And Resident Evil, I feel like, is just too big a name to not be considered.
We have to also consider that Ratchet is an animal, and people like animals. People like
he's cute.
Furries too, a little bit in there.
Yeah. There's a little joke at the beginning because the last Ratchet and Clank story game, besides that remake on PS4, was 2013. There was a joke about the fact that they haven't done this in fucking years. And they're a little rusty. But
Rusty Clank?
I don't know. Let's really nail it down. What game do you think will win?
I think it'll be Ratchet and Clank. Followed by It Takes Two.
I feel like if It Takes Two wins, that would be like the biggest upset in
I'm just saying,
game awards. Because remember, last year, Last of Us won over Hades.
Yeah.
Hades was all anyone talked about, but Last of Us still won.
Yeah.
So if It Takes Two wins, that would be a huge upset.
Well,
and
I
would
think
congratulate
It Takes Two will win
them.
a lot of awards, though. So I think it might get a shot.
Okay.
A shot's still a shot. You know what I mean? Sometimes it goes in, sometimes it doesn't, but shot's a shot. I don't think Deathloop has a shot.
Yeah, I don't think it has a shot. I think Psychonauts 2 unfortunately doesn't have a shot. And I think same with Metroid. Even though I feel like those two fan bases deserve
I think if I had to rank them, it'd be Clank, Takes Two, probably Dread, then Psychonauts, then Village, then Deathloop, just in terms of just how I've seen people talk about the games and also just their clout, historical clout.
Right. Yeah, I would go Clank and then Ratchet. No, I'm kidding.
God damn it. Then Rift, then Apart.
No, honestly, I think Ratchet and Clank will win. If I were voting, if I was deciding, I would make it Metroid. But if I had to pick, I have to sign in. I don't want to sign in.
Hashtag vote.
My vote doesn't matter. All I see is blue, so it doesn't even matter about the slogan anymore.
What's funny is that there is like so much blue on the Game Awards website, so you could really argue vote blue no matter who. Because it is everybody.
Well, I always vote for the one that's on the far left, so Deathloop it is.
Deathloop's on the far left a lot in all the layouts.
This was a political compass. I can see this being the case. You know? Resident Evil's all about just guns and protecting yourself.
Very dark.
Yeah.
But then the Deathloop has guns as well, and you're killing your bad guys.
Yeah, but you're killing successful and probably evil people.
Exactly. That's actually really funny. Honestly, Game of the Year is a great political compass right here. Almost.
I say probably evil because I actually have no idea why I'm killing these people other than if I do, the time loop gets broken. They're all like crazy, but that doesn't mean that they're bad.
Yeah.
We're 2 hours in. Let's give our brief, and I'm glad we have a long episode for this. We don't really have very long episodes every now and then, so it's cool to get one. Predictions of what we might see as far as announcements.
Well, there's always been rumors of the Sonic movie, and since we're the Sonic movie show, I think that's the big question that we need to ask ourselves. Or even just Sonic in general, I guess. Is Sonic going to be anywhere?
I think I'm on the record on this show saying I expect a gameplay trailer for Sonic, new Sonic game. Frontiers is what it probably is going to be named. Of course, we said that about Rangers.
I hope it's a Sonic Colors trailer.
We fixed it. Buy it today. But that's true because they have commercials in there for things that are already out. It'd be funny if Sega does that for Colors.
How that would rub salt in the wounds, considering like I know a lot of Sonic fans are actually getting like not upset, but just like, where's the Sonic movie trailer? And like I said, the later it comes, every week that passes, and we're getting closer and closer to that date, makes me think it's going to get delayed.
That's true.
You know, there hasn't been many movies that have been delayed this year compared to last year, but still enough.
It's true.
Worry where I'm just like, okay, it's December now. Movie's supposed to come out in a couple months.
Yeah.
Where's this trailer at? Or teaser, poster, something.
I'm expecting both the game and the movie.
Wow, you're going to say both? You're going to say both?
I'm going to say both. I also think another lock is Naughty Dog. They didn't announce anything that they're working on next, and they historically like to just announce their shit as soon as their previous game is done. The Last of Us was announced a month after Uncharted 3 came out. A month. Like, there was a teaser in Uncharted 3 about The Last of Us that they forgot was in there because they thought that the game wasn't coming out that early, or the announcement was going to happen earlier or whatever. They thought, yeah, that's right. They thought the Last of Us announcement was going to happen before the game came out. And the year Uncharted 4 came out, which came out in the spring, that was 2016, the Game Awards, they announced both Uncharted Lost Legacy and The Last of Us Part 2. They announced them both there. Yeah. So I think either their next new game, or I think they're working on multiplayer mode for Last of Us Part 2. Because they're on the record saying, hey, we might do it.
Last of Us?
Probably. Probably.
No, it better not be.
Or yeah, I think
the HBO show's been filming.
That could be.
They can show a trailer for that, and we've seen a lot
Yeah.
of like stuff from it. So I'm assuming they can at least put like a 30 to 45-second teaser together. You'd think,
Probably.
or at least have it be like one scene like that. I like when like shows do that where they just show like a scene. Like there's no like in a world where blah 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 blah. Like it's like here's a scene from the HBO series Chernobyl or whatever it was, and it's just here you go. Here's a minute.
Yeah.
And it's like something crazy happens. Like I think that'd be cool if like maybe it's like Joel fighting a clicker or something, and like it ends right before the clicker like is about to attack, and like that's shit, I want to see what that looks like, you know?
Yeah.
So I would think that more so than a game.
Okay. Interesting.
I think we're gonna get a lot more TV shows since like there's a lot more adaptations in other mediums. I wonder if we're gonna get more of that stuff. Especially with the Game Awards getting bigger and bigger, and they're trying to hit more of a wider audience. I think you need to start throwing in where this other stuff is going.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe it's my marketing brain clicking in, but I'm trying to think. God of War 2.
Okay. I think God of War and Zelda.
Yeah.
Oh, Elden Ring will also be there, but that's
coming out.
It's like a month after.
Yeah.
Or I think it got delayed till February, but like whatever. Like we've already seen enough about Elden Ring to be like, yep, we're buying it, or you know that's enough, right?
Yeah.
But as far as like the way out there games, yeah, I think God of War, I think Zelda, because they showed a little bit more Zelda footage at E3, and they said I think to expect more later this year, because that game is still slated for next year, even though people behind the scenes have stated, you know, off the table or whatever, off the record, that that they just said that to say that it's not 2022. It's just not going to be that year. They're still, I think they promised to show more this year. It's December. It's going to be here. The Breath of the Wild 1 game of the year. They announced DLC at the Game Awards. Nintendo likes to always do something at the Game Awards, and the past couple years have been kind of soft. I think last year was just Sephiroth and Smash. The year before that was No More Heroes 3, which was also soft. People thought, oh, that wasn't the Nintendo thing, you know, but I think that they'll finally show Zelda again. And God of War, I feel like the marketing starts to need to kind of come up now. Sony doesn't like to wait. They like to just like make it sure, like they want people to, when they see a PS5 on the shelf, already know that they're going to be buying game X, Y, and Z that are coming out, and like they already have like a plan.
Yeah, I still don't know if this game is going to come out next year.
Probably not.
Which I'm okay with. Please take your time, because I don't have one.
And that's you can always play it on PS4.
Yeah,
remember?
Yeah. I mean, still, I feel like that was
playing on PS5.
Yeah, but because I also want to try God of War in like 60 FPS, or not 60 FPS, whatever it was that like the PS5 version of it, like
it's just both of those modes combined. It's true 4K, or no, because it wasn't true 4K on PS4 Pro. It was checkerboarded, but it was that mode plus the 60 FPS. So
yeah, like I just want to see what that looks like too. But like God of War is the only like PlayStation thing that I'm like, yes, I want to play that, because God of War has been my thing since I was a kid. So like, definitely want to at least have hopefully a PS5 by then, or if worse comes to worse, I'll get it on PS4 Pro or PS4, and because I'd rather know than, because I'm in for the story and whatnot. Because all the other like PS5 stuff, I'm kind of like, hey, at least once I get it, I'll have stuff I know I want to play, because I've waited long enough. Like Ratchet and Spider-Man, I'm like, those are the two I'd probably mess with.
Ooh, they could maybe show Spider-Man too, but I feel like that's still early. Or Wolverine.
I think Wolverine's more.
But I feel like those are early.
Yeah, maybe one more year for Wolverine before we start seeing, because that was only like a cinematic like thing, so it wasn't like they're gonna be able to show, unless they just do another thing like that. But that's kind of lame. IMO.
Yeah, I think both of their games are like, they gave years for both Spider-Man and Wolverine. I think they're both 2023. So neither of their games are next year. I mean, you got to imagine too, like one Insomniac team finished Ratchet in June, the other finished Miles Morales in November. a year ago.
What is your like wish list thing? Like, what's like one thing that you're like definitely probably won't happen, but like,
ooh,
dream scenario like,
oh man,
Kingdom Hearts 8.
Honestly, so next year is Kingdom Hearts' 20th anniversary. Series director Tetsuya Nomura, our boy who made Advent Children the way it was, he is the Kingdom Hearts guy. He said he wanted, I don't know if his words were the next big Kingdom Hearts game to come out on the anniversary, or just he wants to really celebrate it in a big way. My expectations are the next Kingdom Hearts game to either be just straight up Kingdom Hearts 4 or a remake of that first game. Either way, I will be crying. Either way. I watched, dude, on YouTube, like one of the recommended things popped up because of Sora Came to Smash Brothers, which you watched my reaction stream at least halfway through, and how shocked I was that, oh my God, they did it. This YouTube video showed off the costumes in Smash versus the idle animations of that model from the respected games, and they showed Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and all of the handheld games. When they got to 3, I'm like, oh my God, I forgot how good this game looked. It's been 2 years since I played it, almost 3. I'm like, am I going to go back? I have so many other games to play, but like I played that in 10 days, start to finish.
I feel like a game just came out, but like the last 3 years have been a rush for me, so yeah. I feel like everything's 1 year.
I'm like, because Kingdom Hearts is like God of War for you is Kingdom Hearts for me.
Yeah.
I just, I will never say that they're the best games. I feel like I have games I like Zeldas and Metroids and whatnot. I feel like are better games, but like this is just me. It's a very much our specific age group too.
Yeah.
The like our and like 5 years older and maybe 3 years younger. Like we're in that range of like, because I just remember like icebreaker stuff for college being like, what's your favorite game series? How many fucking kids said Kingdom Hearts? And because of that, I said Half-Life because I didn't want to look like a follower, And I said the cool thing.
Half-Life.
That Kingdom Hearts, either one of those two things, because they did come out with a rhythm game that I actually bought and haven't played yet, but I heard the platinum's not that bad. It's a rhythm game. They came out with this one last year, Melody of Memory. But like if the next big one would make me cry, and then also Metal Gear, just anything.
Oh yeah. Even I would be hyped for you if I saw Metal Gear. Like I just get hyped to watch, and I've never even played really enough Metal Gear to be hyped about, but like I know it's hype. It's like me when I said earlier in this episode, like seeing my cousin pre-order. I remember in like us going to GameStop or wherever it was and getting Halo 3, and like he was like, we like immediately opened it together, and like I was just like opening the case over, and I'm like I don't even own this game, and like I'm hyped that he's hyped, and like it looks cool, and I remember like him putting the disc in for the first time, and like I get it. There's like just shit like that.
Yeah. So, and honestly, if Metroid Dread wasn't announced and didn't come out, I would obviously say a new Metroid game. But I got that. I'm good for another 10 years, legitimately, because that game was it just feels so replayable. But what about you? What would make you cream?
This is goofy because it's not like I've really. I mean, I played it a long time
Twisted
ago.
Metal.
I was gonna joke and say that earlier, but I'm gonna say it. I want. If we had a Resident Evil 2 remake, just fucking give it to me already. And like I haven't even played the first one. Give me fucking Dino Crisis, Capcom.
Oh.
Give me Dino Crisis. I have so many memories of Dino Crisis 2. I played it when I got older, when I was better at video games. And I remember playing it and loving it. I remember watching my dad play, and I got scared by the big T-Rex and the other dinosaur. I forgot the name, but it has horns. Bigger than the T-Rex, and it kills the T-Rex at one part. But anyways, like just either like that wouldn't be long enough now. You don't have to even call it a reboot, but just a Dino Crisis video game with the same like tank controls as Resident Evil 2 and all that shit. Inventory management. Just make it dinosaurs, literally, and have that soundtrack, but like update it in some way. Make it banging. Fuck it. You can have the characters' mouths not moving when they talk. That'd be cool.
I've seen a lot of people on my socials feeds talk about that game and like, okay, Capcom, do this next. But I don't, and I've seen so much of that it's hard for me to remember if there was any actual like rumor or anything that suggests that other than just hope, you know? Because sometimes that's how things work is people just talk about wanting something enough and it kind of just happens. It does, like,
we don't have
so
enough
many
dinosaur
people have
games,
talked
like in general.
You have that new Jurassic World game came out, and the dinosaurs are really well animated. Apparently,
Jeff Goldblum narrates the entire game.
Probably.
No, yeah, it's like actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like.
I was going to say so many. It was like based off a very flimsy rumor, but so many people talked fervently about wanting it to be true of Sony getting a license from Konami to do Silent Hill.
I would take that. I don't even know.
I guarantee
playing the game. That's cool. That'd be cool.
I guarantee that never happened, but because of the constant talking about it, that conversation ended up happening, regardless of whatever is happening. Because I would.
We need to make enough fake rumors about Dino Crisis, being like, I snuck into Capcom Studios and there was dinosaur skeletons everywhere.
Yeah,
they hired a paleontologist.
Yeah. I can also see, although I wouldn't expect it to ever be that frequent, if at all, really. But I can expect to see at least one of these major publishers trying to start some conversation like that, just to see what the waters are. You know, do people want a Dino Crisis? Let's pretend that we're leaking it or rumoring it, and just seeing what people say. You know,
like, dude, I just want a dinosaur. Like, it was just such a cool thing. Like, I would love it if it was just like, we're gonna really make it 90s too. Like we're making this 1998 up in here because we all know we love that period of time. Yeah,
we were 3 years old, but
we were 3 years old. But I remember before the towers fell. All right.
Well, I think this is a very, very fun episode for us. We talked about our favorite games this year, and then went through the Game Awards. Most of their nominees, again, all the esports stuff, we kind of just skipped. But
Ninja,
he will show up and he will say the N-word. Whoops. My name was Ethan. You can follow me on Twitter at EthanAbsolutely. Devin is on Twitter at CursonaFun, and the show itself is on Twitter and TikTok at Sonic Movie Show. Let us know what you think will win Game of the Year, and what would make you just cry if it popped up.
Would make your pants so goddamn wet.
Now,
if you're listening to the show, maybe it's probably like Sonic Adventure 3. That'd be my guess, right?
Probably for a lot of people.
No,
yeah.
Honestly,
I would be shocked.
Shadow the Hedgehog 2.
Shadow the Hedgehog 2. I have saved some screenshot I took in the Google search. I was searching something Sonic, and one of the related search terms, it said Sonic the Hedgehog in parentheses character, and it had a photo of Eggman.
Yeah.
And then underneath it, it said Sonic the Hedgehog games, and a picture of Shadow the Hedgehog's box art. No, I that would make me go, oh my god, they're doing it. But we know that's not going to be the case. Let us know what would make you cry. It can even be your own parents coming up on stage and saying you're a good little boy. That's their announcement. But we'll see you next time on another episode of the Sonic Movie Show. Goodbye.